now say hello to Ian Danter and the former Colchester and Arsenal winger Perry Groves throughout the CBS Arena as we build up to Coventry against Swansea. How are you both doing?
We're all right, the thermals are kicking in.
Oh, is
thermal
it that cold?
socks, that's the key, thermal socks.
Jeez, right, it's getting cold, isn't it? We kind of got used to the weather being milder, but now it's suddenly hit us, hasn't it? Right, what an intriguing fixture we have to look forward to. We hope we'll have goals, and by the form of both sides, we will expect some goals in this game as well. I'm sure you've heard the stat already plenty of times, Perry, but 15 of the last 17 teams that have been top of the Championship at Christmas have gone on to be promoted. So are you backing Coventry to do it?
Yeah, very much so, Nat. We've been lucky enough to see him a couple of times, Dance and myself. We saw him here against Charlton where they went 1-0 down. And then they just had this belief that, you know, when you see a team where it has belief and they have assurance and they didn't panic. They've got Torp and Grimes who basically could sort of control the midfield here. Grimes dropping it deeper and Torp can go and play as a second number 10. And they got themselves back into the game. Ellis Sims scored a couple of goals. Eccles got the equaliser. They ended up winning the game 3-1. And Dance, it was absolutely rocking, wasn't it, here at the CBS Arena? There's a togetherness here. From the owners down to the supporters, to the playing staff, to the coaching staff. You know what it's like, that. You know, you're at Brentford and, you know, there is a synergy between everybody. It's exactly the same here, where there's a belief. And Frank Lampard was talking about desire as well, obviously battling performance where Southampton going down to 10 men for the whole of the second half. So it's looking really, really good for Coventry.
And that is despite this flu bug that's gone around. I mean, it's hampered Coventry in the last few games. Last week against Southampton, they didn't have their preferred centre-back partnership of Kitching and Thomas, but Kitching is back for this one, which is massively important. But there's strength in depth in this Coventry side by the fact that Ellis Sims now has been preferred, Perry, to Hadji Wright. Yeah,
I think it's probably just a little bit of game management from Frank Lampard with Hadji Wright. And you said there, Ellis Sims, you know, has come into good form. He got that brace against Charlton here. And again, watching him play, he's not a player that's going to sort of go and close down the fullbacks and sort of run in behind. He stays very central, and basically he's the target. He's like the Championship version of Erling Haaland. You know, when you see someone just sort of jogs around in the middle and thinks, right, you get the ball into the box, I'll be a presence. He's got 2 good feet, he's good in the air, he's got himself 8 goals. So, yeah, he was very impressive in that Charlton game. But then, you know, if it's not working, as you said there, on the bench, you've got the likes of Hadji Wright that can come on and change it. Josh Eccles come and play in the 10. So they've got a strong squad, but I personally think that they'll go strong in the January transfer window. I think they'll go and probably get maybe 2 or 3, because when you're in a position of strength, 6 points clear at top like that, then that's the best time to strengthen your squad.
And what about quickly the visitors, Swansea then, who under their new boss Vitor Matos has gone on a pretty decent run. They've won 3 of their last 4, coming from behind to beat Wrexham last time out. The only issue they had is that they've not won on the road under their new boss.
No, they've struggled on the road. Only 2 wins so far this season. One of those came at Beleaguered Sheffield Wednesday in August, and at Blackburn in September, who'd not started the season particularly well. But as the teams come out here at the CBS Arena and the fireworks go off, that Swansea, they've got to rise to the occasion. They've got to try and find a balance and blend that works for them. They've got very talented players. Gonzalo Franco and Ronaldo in parts of their midfield are as creative as anybody in the Championship. Cabango's a very good leader at the back. Vipotnik's been scoring goals, but yeah, the away form has got to improve so that Swansea don't look too nervously over their shoulder at what's going on underneath them.
Absolutely. I was going to say, at this present moment, it feels like they're looking up rather than down, but they cannot be complacent. Coventry then are looking to return to winning ways against a Swansea side who are aiming to spoil the Christmas party. Live on Talksport 2. The teams have made their way out, so let's hand you to your commentary team then for this one. Perry Groves is alongside Ian Danter.
Thank you, Natalie, and a very good afternoon and a very happy Christmas to you, wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2. Perhaps you've got a brand new phone or smart speaker with which to listen to our EFL coverage today across our network, and indeed Premier League coverage with Manchester United, Newcastle United exclusive to Talksport later on. This is the 3rd game of the 5 that we are bringing you live and exclusive across the Talksport network. You've heard already the draws between Birmingham City and Derby County, and just there from Alex and Scott, Millwall's goalless draw with Ipswich. Wrexham against Sheffield United to come at 5:30, and that Manchester United-Newcastle United game to come at 8. But here, Coventry yet to be vanquished this season in front of their own supporters, and another packed house of home support here to roar their team on to keep that advantage. 6 points clear at the start of play of second place Middlesbrough in the table. Swansea starting the day in 17th, but 4 without an away win. As I mentioned, just those 2 wins, 2 draws and 6 defeats on their travels for the side newly managed by Vitor Matos, the 37-year-old, born in Portugal. Had a short spell at Maritimo before coming to Swansea. Won 3 and lost 3 of his opening 6, so feast or famine for the new Swansea manager. Quick look at the teams. 4 changes for Coventry. Carl Rushworth is their goalkeeper. The back 4 is Milan van Ewijk, Luke Wolfenden, Liam Kitching and Jake Bidwell. Victor Torp and former Swan Matt Grimes holding in midfield. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, Jack Rodoni, Efren Mason-Clark in behind Ellis Sims. For Swansea, 2 changes from the win they got against Wrexham. Lawrence Vigouroux, the goalkeeper. Ethan Galbraith, Ben Cabango, Cameron Burgess and Josh Timon, the back 4. Gonzalo Franco and Marco Stamenic, the holding midfielders. Ronald, Liam Cullen and Ji Sung Yom are the 3 behind Jan Vipotnik in attack. Coventry in all sky blue, but they don't kick off the game. It's Swansea in their change strip, which looks not unlike the Portuguese national side. That is a coincidence, because Matos wasn't here at the start of the season and picked that strip. And Swansea are going to be attacking the end. Their travelling support is in the south stand away to our right. Perry and myself sat in the west stand here inside the Coventry half of the field, rather inside the Swansea half of the field that they're defending. Coventry then attacking the north stand to our left. Ball skied in the air. Our referee today is Sam Allison, and he watches as Liam Kitching hooks the ball over his head. We're going to get Mason Clark away down the Coventry left, but he barged into Ethan Galbraith. That's a foul, and that's a free kick to Swansea City, who've got a good record against Coventry City of late. Perry, it's a bit of a weird one for the Anoraks to get their teeth into. Was it 1 defeat last 19 games in the league against Coventry? It is something ridiculous like that. But they did lose the last meeting 2-0 in February. That was a defeat. I knew you'd know. Long ball over the top from Ben Cabango, but Ronald won't get anywhere near that. It was hit too long and too straight and bounced through to Carl Rushworth, who immediately finds Luke Wolfenden. Van Ewijk, who was suffering with the lurgy that's been going around the Coventry camp. No Jada Silva today on the left-hand side of the Coventry defence. He picked up a red card in the draw at Southampton last weekend that you heard live on Talksport 2. It's 0-0 here, a minute gone. Just looking dance at Swansea City. When Coventry in possession, they're not just going to sit deep. You've got Vipotnik up front, who starts the press off, and it's an energetic press, because they know that obviously Coventry want to play out from the back, try and get Grimes and Torp onto the ball. We saw there when the ball went out to Van Ewijk on that right-hand side. Oh, lovely ball from Bidwell down the left-hand side to find Mason Clark, who's got Cabango backpedaling. Lovely reverse ball into the area. Rodoni across the facing on, and it just evades Ellis Sims right in front. Sakamoto keeps it in play, clips it back into the box, headed away by Cameron Burgess for Swansea. Lovely sweeping move down the Coventry left, 0-0. Brilliant link-up play. Mason Clark, great little reverse ball in that inside left position. Now a ball into the box from Grimes, the former Swan, looking for Mason Clark, but caught by Vigouroux, the goalkeeper for Swansea City. 0-0, couple of minutes gone. Just saw their dance. Rodoni, who was obviously playing in the 10 position, got himself to the byline. Brilliant cross across the 6-yard box, and it seems he's got to be gambling, because if he gambles, Dance, he gets a tap in from 2 yards, and then he was on the edge of the 6-yard box, where he should be anticipating where that ball's going to be whipped across. I'll keep you in touch with goals going in the EFL. There's already one gone in at Oakwell in League One, where Barnsley lead Mansfield by a 1-0. Bit of a sequence of loss, win, loss for the South Yorkshire club. No win in 7 for the Stags. So Barnsley 1-0 up there. I'm guessing it's... No, it's not. Davis Killidan It's Reyes Cleary who's got the goal for Barnsley. That's the opener in the 3 o'clocks in the EFL around the country. There's also National League where Boreham Wood lead at Wealdstone. Here's Ronald for Swansea at 0-0. Getting up to the edge of the area. Tried to slot it in field to find Liam Cullen. One back by Mason Clark. He's pushed and earns Coventry City a free kick just to the left of their own penalty area. 0-0.
Dan Tuttle started attack there. Ronald on that right-hand side for Swansea. Brilliant ball from Cabango. You know, when you just pierce it through the opposition's midfield, just got it to his feet, come onto his left foot. He should be shooting that. He's on the edge of the 18-yard box, trying to test Rushworth and bend it maybe in his far post. Ends up just running the ball into a plethora of bodies.
Grimes was pressurised there by Gonzalo Franco, managed to get the ball back to Rushworth. The ball's nodded in field for Ellis Sims, who tries to guide it out to the Coventry right, looking for either Sakamoto or Van Eyck, but instead it's Josh Timon who calmly tucks the ball back to Lawrence Vigouroux, the Swansea keeper, who's been with the club now, a couple of years. Former Leyton Orient stopper, Chilean. Left-footed, he smacks the ball out to the right-hand side, looking for Ronald. Poor touch from Bidwell, almost saw the ball slot into Ronald's path, but Grimes there to tidy up. You can hear a few boos from the Swans fans as Grimes touched the ball. They love him, really. He was such a terrific representative for Swansea City. 333 appearances in South Wales, and he chipped in with 16 goals as well. But he's a Coventry player since just under a year ago, and he looks on as Ji-sung Yong takes a drive from 25 yards out, but it bounced once and straight in front of Rushworth. Comfortable save, 0-0.
Yeah, Ji-sung Yong just coming in from that left-hand side, finds himself a little bit more central, getting up to his right foot, just got his side foot behind it, simple save for Rushworth. You talk about the boos, you know, from the Swansea fans. Yeah. If you're going to boo, have a bit more sort of energy about your boo. Do you know what I mean? Put a little bit more in it. It was just half-hearted. Like, it couldn't be bothered, could they?
It was a little faint.
Yeah.
Coventry 0, Swansea 0 on Talksport 2 in the EFL. Anis Mehmeti's put Bristol City 1 up at West Brom. Offside flag goes up against Ephraim Mason-Clark, who was trying to break down the right-hand side. So Bristol City, who we saw get their first win in 4 last time out against Middlesbrough, live for you on Talksport 2 at the weekend, are in front. Earlier today, Birmingham 1, Derby 1. Both sides had a man sent off. Millwall 0, Ipswich 0. Not a lot happened. Here's Ronald, picking up the ball for Swansea on the right-hand side and getting up to the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Puts it along the deck into the box, and Milan Van Eyck coming across from right back to clear his lines and put it out of play. But that was a good ball into a dangerous area from Ronald for Swansea, 0-0.
Yeah, at the moment, Bidwell's really struggling up against Ronald on Swansea's right-hand side. To be fair to Cullen, who's again playing in the 10 position for Swansea, it's a brilliant ball where he just got himself on the half-turn and pinged it out to Ronald. So he's looked very dangerous this opening 6 minutes for Swansea, but both teams at the moment just can't find an end product.
Burton Albion lead Northampton in League 1 by a goal to 0. A Jake Beasley penalty, and again Ronald wrestling for possession with Bidwell, who this time held him off, even though Ronald went to ground and wanted a foul from the referee. Nothing doing, said Sam Allison. Coventry have it back. Torp guides the ball back for Kitching and Wolfenden, who puts it out to Van Eyck on the right-hand side, just over the halfway line, but Ji-sung Yong closes down the space, so Van Eyck's forced to turn the ball back into his own half. Then a fizzed ball from Kitching, trying to find Mason Clark on this near side. The Coventry left is comfortably intercepted, and Ethan Galbraith, excellent young player for Swansea City, who came in the summer, having been really good in the lower leagues in the EFL. He guides the ball back to Vigouroux once again. So Swansea have started quite confidently, even though Coventry have had the best sort of half chance with that ball fizzed across the face of goal by Redoni. Ronald, back for Franco, still inside his own half, plays the ball back into square for Burgess, and the Australian works it out to Ji-sung Yong up against Van Eyck, cuts in field from the far touch line, then it's tucked out to the right-hand side, left-hand side rather, by Cullen. And now Stamenic, New Zealander, will leave it out to the left-hand side. Swansea playing some good 1- and 2-touch football. Leicester lead against Watford. A goal to 0 in favour of the Foxes. Down the left-hand side of the area, Ji-sung Yong finds Vipotnik in space, takes the drive, and it's deflected out for a corner. He had all the time in the world to take a touch to set himself, did Zan Vipotnik, And by the time he got the shot away, Kitching was there to block it behind for a Swansea corner, 0-0.
Worked it really well again. Swansea down the left-hand side. Ji-sung Young just coming into inside left position, just spotting Vipotnik completely unmarked on the penalty spot, Dan. He takes his first touch, and you said he just took an age for getting his shot away. He just hesitated so much, enabled Kitchen just to go and get the blocking corner for Swansea on their left.
Taken short by Ji-sung Young, who gets it back left-hand side. Right-footed ball swirled to the far post, headed across by Cabango and Stamanic. Coventry cleared their lines, but there was nobody in a sky blue shirt on halfway, so Vigouroux could retain it. It's Jordan James who got that goal for Leicester against Watford at the King Power. Lovely ball forward by Galbraith into the air for Vipotnik, but he's offside. So says the assistant on the near side, but Vitor Matos, the Swansea manager, clapping hands above his head, very pleased with the way that the visitors have started here against the Championship leaders, 0-0.
Do you know what I like about Swansea, Dan, since you watch his first 9 minutes? Every time they're on the ball, they look to pass forward. It doesn't matter whether it's Cabango and Burgess at centre-halves, they look to ping it into Franco and Stamanic. Or if it's Franco and Stamanic, then they look to then ping it into Cullen or Ronaldo on this right-hand side, Ji-sung Young on the left-hand side. It's been a very, very positive start from Swansea, and Coventry haven't been able to get in the game.
0-0 here, 1-0 to Huddersfield against Port Vale in League One. Leo Castledine on loan from Chelsea. And also in League One, Luton lead Wickham by a goal to 0. Those two teams don't like each other, I'm sure. Gideon Kadua with a goal for the Hatters. Here's Renal for Swansea at 0-0. Once again, trying to get the better of Bidwell. This time Bidwell stands up to him, gets a deflection in, the ball goes out for a Swansea throw. 10 yards from the corner flag on this near side. The Swansea right as they attack the south stand in this first half. Approaching 10 minutes on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2, 0-0. And the visitors are keeping the home fans largely quiet here.
Yeah, it's just a bit disappointing, actually, from Swansea's point of view. They haven't got anybody with a long throw.
Yeah.
Just waiting, wouldn't you? It's like when it came out to Galbraith, you're thinking, right, he's going to have a little trot up and see if he can launch it into Coventry's box and just take a little short throw into Vipotnik.
No goals in League Two as yet, and only one in the National League, as Radoni is brought down by Stamanic, who's going to get a yellow card, is he, from Sam Allison? It's a very early one, if so indeed it is. Yellow card for the midfielder.
That's really good play from Radoni. Just getting himself on, again, the half turn, taking on his back foot, on his left foot. Then another little touch with the outside of his left foot away from Stamanic. Sam Allison, the referee, I just think he's in too much of a hurry to get the yellow card out. It's a foul. Not every foul is a yellow card. It wasn't, excessive force. He just slid in and tried to nick it off him. Just slightly mistimed it. So now Stamanic is bang under pressure with only 11 minutes gone.
With the score at 0-0, Coventry City have a free kick about 20 yards inside the Swansea half of the field. Swansea holding their line just in front of the 18-yard line. This free kick's on the right-hand side for Victor Torp. Everyone in a line at the edge of that area. In it comes from Torp. Flicked away beyond Mason Clark at the far post. It will come out of play for a throw to Coventry City. Just down to the left of our commentary position in front of the north stand. And Milan van Ewijk is a long throw specialist.
And he gets a round of applause before he's even taken the throw in.
Because they know what's coming.
Exactly, the anticipation. So he just puts the ball up his jump up, gives it a wipe so he can get good purchase on it.
First goal in League Two's gone in at Priestfield. Gillingham 0, Cambridge 1. Gillingham on a poor run now that Gareth Ainsworth is back. No win in 7. Cambridge 7 unbeaten in the league. And they lead at the Priestfield through Luis Apere. Van Ewijk's long throw for Coventry into the box, allowed to bounce, but beyond the far post. Mason Clark can retrieve it down the right-hand side for Coventry, trying to sneak it inside two Swansea defenders to find Torp. But the South Wales club get the ball clear, and they've won a throw midway point of their own half, 0-0.
That's a brilliant throw from Van Ewijk, and from Swansea's point of view, it's the cardinal sin. You cannot let the ball bounce in your own 6-yard box. So Vigouroux's got to come and collect the ball, or the two centre-halves, Cabango and Burgess, they've got to make sure they attack it. And from Swansea's point of view, defensively, they need to have someone at the near post. There was a massive gap, probably of 30 yards from Van Ewijk to obviously the near post, where there wasn't one Swansea player in it.
Ian Dancer and Perry Groves with you at the Coventry Building Society Arena. 12 minutes gone on Talksport 2. It is Coventry City 0, Swansea City 0. Down the right-hand side, there comes the cross into the box, but Swansea again deal with it reasonably well. Radoni wins it back for the Sky Blues, out to Sakamoto. hugging that right-hand touchline, level with the 18-yard line. Jinks onto his left, gets away from Ji Sung-yong, puts the cross in. Then this time it was Burgess to head it clear. Vipotnik tried to hold it up inside his own half. Did well initially, but Grimes managed to wrestle the ball off him.
Sakamoto did really well on the right-hand side. I think he just took a touch too many, because when he just cuts onto his left foot, he should be whipping the ball in straight away. He doesn't. That enables Swansea then to get probably 3 or 4 yards further out of their 18-yard box. Burgess got the first contact.
Now, right-hand side for Coventry. Rodoni runs into the challenger. Timon, who wants a throw-in off Rodoni, but it's been given the other way by the assistant on that far side of the field. And even though there's loads of people in here, it's not quite the raucous atmosphere that we've seen at recent Coventry games. And what we've also seen at times, Perry, the few times we've been here, is that quite often the opposition can score first.
Yep. Well, they say, I think the Coventry City fans have had too many pigs in blankets. It's all a little bit sort of just sitting down, aren't they, and not really getting their lungs at full capacity to get behind their team. To be fair, Swansea started off well, but now you see Coventry just starting to sort of dominate the ball. Grimes there going to get the ball off of Rushworth.
He worked it out to Sakamoto on the right-hand side. He tried to nick it in field for Rodoni, but Swansea managed to win possession back. Barnsley have gone 2-0 up on Mansfield now in League One. Barnsley 2, Mansfield 0. Cabango fires the ball downfield, but it sails over Ronald's head, and Kitching and Wolfenden will tidy it. But here's Grimes looking to direct operations against his old club from the centre circle. Finds Rodoni. Rodoni's got Van Ewijk moving up to his right, midway point of the Swansea half. Plays a 1-2 with Sakamoto. Good strong run from Milan Van Ewijk. Gets the cross in as well. Deep beyond the far post. Mason Clark has to charge out of his area to try and win it, but Ronald gets there first and hoofs it up to the halfway line, but nobody there in a maroon Swansea away shirt, so Coventry have it back. Quarter of an hour gone, 0-0. Rodoni on the half turn. Gets dispossessed well, though, by Ji Sung-yong. Plays it up to Vipotnik on halfway. He lays it off to Stamanic. And now Galbraith, just next to the centre circle. Good ball along the deck. And it's played forward for Vipotnik, who's onside, but out comes Rushworth and bravely gathers at Vipotnik's feet. Good move again from Swansea, but it's still 0-0.
Yeah, it's Galbraith this time, just picking it into Franco, and Franco's got good quality on the ball. If he just gets the weight of his pass right, Vipotnik's in, and he just overhits it, you can just see he was disappointed with himself, put his head in his hands and say, no, I should be just rolling Vipotnik in. Went ball went through to Rushworth, picked it up quite comfortably, and Coventry are able to get themselves back in possession. 15
minutes gone. Coventry City 0, Swansea City 0 on Talksport 2. Huddersfield have taken a 2-goal lead against Port Vale now at the John Smiths. 3 unbeaten Huddersfield. A few questions were being asked about Lee Grant in recent weeks, but that's a better unbeaten run for the Terriers. Here at the CBS Arena, Sakamoto for Coventry lays the ball off to Grimes. Torp now, pretty much the centre of the Swansea half, gives it back to Matt Grimes, and again a few boos ring out from that southwest corner that the Swansea fans are in. Mason Clark tried to flick the ball back down the left-hand touchline to Bidwell. Ronald runs into Bidwell, barely touched him and went down like he'd been clotheslined by Ric Flair, and now he gets it back right-hand side. It's a quick recovery from...
Just like to let our listeners know that Ronald is all right, just in case they're worried about his welfare.
Here is Galbraith, pushing in from the right-hand side. Finds a bit of space for Cullen. Out to the left-hand side, and Ji Sung-yong running at Van Ewijk, gets into the area. A couple of step-overs from the Korean to the byline, pulls it back, and then Rushworth turns it away with his boot. It doesn't go out of play for a corner on that far side, and it's stopped from going for a corner by Liam Cullen, and instead Swansea have a throw. 0-0.
Looks really lively. Ji Sung-yong on that left-hand side for Swansea. Just gone on the outside, getting to the byline, just trying to whip the ball across 6-yard box. Massive Inspector Gadget leg there from Rushworth at the near post. In goal for Coventry, managed to clear the danger.
Made a brilliant save, Carl Rushworth, late on here against Charlton from from Bristol City rather, from Falemayulu, when it looked absolutely certain that Mayulu was going to get an equaliser for Bristol City. Plymouth 0, Reading 1. Plymouth have had Joe Rule sent off, and now they're behind Lewis Wing with a penalty for Reading down at Home Park in League 1. And Cheltenham lead Shrewsbury by 1-0 in League 2. Cheltenham 4 unbeaten and 18th in the league under Steve Cottrell. Crawley 1, Colchester 0. Go on, say it.
Offside.
It's not. It counts.
Just one defeat with Crawley, last 11 games against league games at Colchester.
But they're no win in 11 themselves, Crawley, at the moment, so maybe they enjoy having their...
The O's got to go.
Yeah, someone's got to go. It's 2-0 to Reading now as well, incidentally, at Plymouth. They've added to that Lewis Wing penalty. Blackpool 1, Doncaster 0. Blackpool are improving all the time under Ian Evatt. 4 unbeaten, even though they're still in the bottom 4. And they have the lead through Tom Bloxham up at Blackpool.
Just looking at Coventry, Dance, you've got Galbraith who's playing in the right back position where he starts off, but in possession he goes into the midfield, very sort of Pep Guardiola, to have that overload.
Renal trying to get forward from a long ball, and it forced Rushworth into a skewed clearance. The Coventry keeper out of play. So it's a throw to Swansea City, 20 yards inside the Coventry half of the field. 0-0 the score, 18 minutes gone. And again, plenty of encouragement for Vitor Matos, who's prowling his technical area, hands in pockets. Frank Lampard's come out to survey the scene from the middle of his technical area. Only a couple of goals in the Championship 3 o'clocks that we've told you about. Leicester leading Watford by 1-0 at the King Power, just up the M69 from here, and Bristol City 1-0 up at West Bromwich Albion. And earlier today, Birmingham 1, Derby 1, Millwall 0, Ipswich 0 were our early commentaries for you across our network. And we've got Wrexham Sheffield United to come at 5:30. Straight after this game, we'll be off to the racecourse with Adam Bridge and Adrian Clark. And then Manchester United against Newcastle United is the Premier League exclusive commentary of the day. 8 o'clock at Old Trafford. Hugh Wozencroft is there, so too Sam Matterface and Steve Bruce, man with the foot in both camps. Manchester United player, Newcastle United manager. He's the co-commentator tonight.
You give us a bit of Brucey later on, can't you? Not Bruce Forsyth, obviously Steve Bruce.
Well, if you put enough 10p's in the slot, I might be tempted.
Who got sent off for Birmingham? Was it Carey got sent off?
Christoph Clara got sent off for Birmingham, and Joe Ward sent off for Derby.
And so he gets the 3-game ban, Clara, right? So he's
it's second yellow, so it'd just be one game.
No, straight red.
No, I thought it was 2 yellows.
Oh, right. I thought it was straight red because he kicked him in the head.
Ellis Sims down the left-hand side of the penalty area for Coventry at 0-0. Finds Mason Clark at the left-hand corner. Has to work it back via Bidwell to Grimes. Swirling deep cross, looking for Sakamoto on the right-hand side of the area. Well dealt with by Josh Timon, but only at the expense of a Coventry City throw. And Van Eyck picks another fresh, clean, dry football up off one of the cones placed around the pitch for this multi-ball system.
So if you're Vitor Matos, the obviously Swansea manager, you're going to be saying to your centre-halves, you've got to make sure you get the contact and don't let the ball bounce in the 6-yard box. Got Vigouroux, the Swansea goalkeeper, who's just at his near post. Ellis Sims being the nuisance just in front of him.
In it comes from Van Eyck, low and flat this time. Kitchen trying to flick it on. Vipotnik will clear his lines, but nobody further forward for Swansea, so Van Eyck can collect on the far right-hand side and work it in field to Grimes. Just to his left now is Bidwell. Little diagonal ball into the box. That should be Vigouroux's and is. Comfortable claim from the Chilean in goal for Swansea City. But near the midway point of the first half, on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2, it's still Perry Groves 0-0.
Yeah, just a little bit too floated there from Bidwell. Just trying to ease it into the box. Too much height. Simple catch for Vigouroux. And we're saying about Vitor Matos, the Swansea City manager, he'll be absolutely delighted with the way that his team started in this first 21 and a half minutes, because we knew they weren't going to sit back, dancing. They just sat back and have their bellies tickled. They're on the front foot. Franco's dictating in that midfield area.
I know what you were trying to do there. Ball's played forward by Stamenic. Out to Ronaldo on the right-hand side. Now Franco, who I saw score a wonderful goal when Swansea took on Manchester City in the League Cup a month or two back, giving Swansea the lead, but that lead did not last.
Just made him angry.
Will the lead last for Sheffield Wednesday today? They've just taken the lead against Hull through Svante Ingelsson. Remember, Wednesday haven't won since the end of September. Can they win to close the year out? Against Hull, who are in decent form, let's not forget, winning 4 out of their last 5. 1-0 then to Wednesday at Hillsborough. And Oxford United have taken the lead against Southampton. No Gary Rowett anymore at the Kazan, but they lead against the Saints. Here's Ronaldo trying to get past Bidwell, showing great pace. Ronaldo for Swansea, gets to the byline, but my, how well Jake Bidwell got back at him. And the cross was hit by Ronaldo against Bidwell, but back onto Ronaldo, so it's actually a goal kick for Coventry and not, as Ronaldo wanted, a corner kick. Halfway through the first half, 0-0.
Yeah, good little battle on Coventry's left-hand side, Swansea's right-hand side with Ronaldo and Bidwell. What I like about Swansea, dance, is in the wide areas, Ronaldo off centre right and Ji-sung on the left-hand side. Coventry leave them 1v1. You know, when they're with the full-backs, there's no one going on the overlap. Okay, you go 1v1. Ronaldo tried to do that and go on the outside. To be fair to Bidwell, he timed his tackle really well, just slid in, got a couple of ricochets that made Coventry to get the ball back, and now they've just given the ball away really cheaply because Swansea are on the front foot, going to press whoever's in possession of the ball.
Tyler Goodrum got that goal for Oxford against Southampton, and Bristol City have a second at West Bromwich Albion. West Brom 0, Bristol City 2. Ross McCrory gets the second for Gerhard Struber's team. So in the Championship, as Swansea win a free kick, it was earlier results: Birmingham 1, Derby 1, Millwall 0, Ipswich win, Ipswich 0, Coventry Swansea 0-0 here, Leicester 1, Watford 0, Borough 0, Blackburn 0, Norwich 0, Charlton 0, Oxford 1, Southampton 0, Portsmouth 0, QPR 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Hull 0, Stoke 0, Preston 0, West Brom 0, Bristol City 2, with Wrexham Sheffield United a 5:30 kick-off. That will be live here with us on Talksport 2 straight after we're done here. Free kick to Coventry City. Matt Grimes to take it, about 15 yards inside the Swansea half of the field. Left-footed, swings it across the 18-yard line. Almost headed down by Kitching for Ephraim Mason-Clark, but it was just kept away from the Coventry number 10 and bounced through to Vigouroux, who clutched hold of it gratefully. And it is Davis Keeler-Dunn who scored Barnsley's second. I thought we'd scored the first, I guessed. And Burton have a second at home to Northampton. 2-0 they lead. Jack Armour with the second for the Brewers. Here's Rodoni for Coventry City. Left-hand side, great cross. It just evaded Torp, who was flying into the area on the inside left channel. But away come Swansea City on the counter-attack. Josh Tymon, left-hand side, cuts in field, plays it into the centre of the Coventry half for Franco. Looks early for Ronaldo. Once again, trying to isolate Jake Bidwell on the Coventry left. Down the right side of the area, Franco's continued his run. Chips it to the far post, and Rushworth claims it at the second attempt, and had to, because there were players coming in behind him. Liam Cullen was one. If he'd not clutched that at the second time of asking, Cullen would surely have tucked it away to give Swansea the lead, 0-0.
Yeah, really good link-up play again from Swansea, this time on their right-hand side. Franco out to Ronaldo, and then Franco goes on the underlap. Ronaldo just rolls him in. Franco gets the byline, said there. Just maybe if he uses a pitching wedge instead of an 8-iron, gets the far post. Rushworth just has a massive right palm, claws it out of the air, gets it the second attempt. But just watching Swansea play, Dan, you can tell that the Swansea City players are actually enjoying the way that Vitor Matos, the Swansea player, wants them to play. You know, it's very fluid. You know, he just gives the players that little bit of licence. It's all about Galbraith going into midfield.
Yeah, joining in from right back. Ball's out of play. That's the voice of Perry Groves you can hear alongside me. Ian Dancer, Perry, former Colchester winger. And Colchester have equalised at Crawley, 1-1. Kyrese Lisby again, getting plenty of goals. Son of Kev, right?
Yes, yeah, he's doing really well. I think he was at Braintree in non-league. Culture won the last 6 of the last 8 away Boxing Day league games.
I knew you'd know that stat. MK Dons 1, Swindon 0 in a battle of two of the teams toward the top. 5th against 2nd, and Aaron Nemain has given MK the lead at Stadium MK. Coventry have got a free kick. I think the ball hit the referee, did it?
Yeah, it's a really poor touch there from Sam Allison. He's got to get his feet sorted out as the ball comes into him. He's got to make sure he holds the ball up, Dan. To get your first good touch, back into the centre half. Just come off his knee.
Tranmere 1, Fleetwood 0 in League 2. Tranmere on a bit of a losing streak at the minute, losing 3 out of 4, but Charlie Whittaker has given them the lead at Prenton Park. 0-0 here on your home of the EFL Talksport 2. Rodoni for Coventry City, looking for Ellis Sims, but one back strongly by Ethan Galbraith for Swansea. Franco gives it back to Galbraith, just down beneath us. We're about 20 rows back from the pitch level in the West Stand here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Looking on as Jack Rodoni on this near touchline tries to lay it back in field for his captain Matt Grimes. It's gone out of play for a throw to Coventry. 27 minutes gone, and still the blue touch paper has not quite yet been lit for the Coventry fans to ooh and ah about.
Well, Vigouroux in the Swansea goal hasn't had a save to make yet, has he? He had the one cross from Rodoni that had just flashed across the 6-yard box. Apart from that, he's had maybe a cross from Bidwell what he just plucked out there. Apart from that, he's had nothing to do.
Stamenic, who was booked early in the piece for Swansea. So we will have to be careful going forward. He's in possession now, just plays a square ball to Cameron Burgess, who gets it back from his fellow centre-half Cabango, gets his head up, short pass into Franco, who quickly works it back to Galbraith, and under pressure from Mason Clark, it's now back with Ben Cabango inside the D in his own penalty area, but he sprints away very neatly from Jack Rodoni, showed him a clean pair of heels. Then it's worked back infield to Stamenic, faced up by Torp, just in front of his own 18-yard line. Very comfortable in possession in their own defensive third, Swansea City. Galbraith being pressurised by Mason Clark. Managed to thread the ball through the eye of a needle there to find Burgess. But Coventry, you can hear they're pressing. The fans are happy with the press, and they've won a throw. It is a Swansea throw, but they can pressurise the Swans as they try and get out here. As Southampton equalise at Oxford United. That's 1-1 at the Kazam. I'll give you the identity of the score as soon as I have it. It was Tyler Goodrum that had put Oxford ahead in that game after the departure of Gary Rowett. And the throw leads to a... Was that a free kick that's been awarded to Swansea? 29 minutes gone, 0-0. It is a free kick in their left-back position for a nudge on Josh Tymon. So, a chance here for Swansea to... I don't know whether Matos, the manager, might actually be disappointed that they've not done more with the control of the game that they've had, broadly speaking.
Well, I think Vipotnik had the one massive chance, didn't he, where it just took too long to get his shot away.
That was a great chance. Took a touch, but it was an important deflection behind off Liam Kitching. Here's Galbraith, keeping the ball in play, tight to this near touchline. Ronald works the ball back in field with the outside of his right boot. Lovely little half turn from Stamenic there to keep the ball away from Sims. And now works it back to Cabango. Again, Coventry players start to press, but Swansea trying to play around it. Franco, lost the ball in the centre circle to Grimes. So now what can Coventry do? Now they've won it back. Good turn from Victor Torp to get away from his man. Strong run, but an equally strong challenge by Ji Sung-yong to win it back for Swansea City, 0-0.
Ji Sung-yong did brilliantly there because Franco obviously got caught in possession.
Yeah, caught the bridge of his nose, I think. But meantime, Swansea coming forward down their right-hand side with Ethan Galbraith, gets over the halfway line, leaves it for Stamenic. Takes the game down to walking pace. Tymon was making a run in from the left-hand side. It's clear that both fullbacks have got licence to cut in field and get involved in midfield affairs at times. Yeah,
just making the overload. Coventry City, when they're out of position, they drop back to like a 4-4-2. But I actually think, being the home side, if you're Frank Lampard, you want them another 10 to 15 yards further up the pitch, because Swansea are dominating possession up to sort of 60% possession at the moment in Coventry's own backyard.
Here's Franco, lays it off to Ronald, who's running towards the edge of the penalty area, plays a deep ball beyond the far post, looking for Ji Sung-yong, but well defended by Milan van Ewijk, who clears the ball up to the halfway line, but Burgess shows good strength to get ahead of Sims. It's knocked down for Vipotnik, who tried to control it in field on his thigh, and Swansea again are hunting in packs, and they're a little bit more proactive in trying to win the ball back when they're pressing on the Coventry defenders rather than vice versa. Now Mason Clark shows good skill to work the ball in field. Torp looks early for Rodoni on the Coventry right wing, midway point of the half. Van Ewijk on the overlap, being used now. We're going to cut inside Ji Sung-yong. Good run, Milan van Ewijk. Played it into the near post, looking for Sakamoto, and Burgess hurriedly turns it behind for Coventry City's first corner of the game, just past the half-hour mark. 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, worked it really well from the centre, from Torp out to Rodoni. Just drifted out to that right-hand side. Just a nice little roll into Van Ewijk, who's gone on the overlap. And he cuts inside. I think he should be getting his shot with his left foot. Tries to get it with his right. Gets blocked at the near post by Burgess. Corner for Coventry over on their right-hand side.
Which Torp has gone across to take. So it'll be a right-footed out swinger in the northeast corner. I beg your pardon. 4 Coventry players all stood around the penalty spot in that sort of love train thing. But they'll start to break as the kick is about to come in. Wolfenden and Kitching amongst them. In it comes, and it's flicked on by Bidwell. Won't quite drop for Wolfenden. Swansea clear their lines. Ronaldo is chasing after it, but Grimes gets there first and decides to lob it all the way back to his goalkeeper Rushworth, and he takes a touch and volleys it downfield Bidwell helps it on, but he was offside. Goals elsewhere. Huddersfield 3-0 up on Port Vale now in League One, and Burton 3-0 up on Northampton in the same division, and another 3-0 scoreline in League One. 10-man Plymouth are now 3-0 down at home to Reading, and Stockport, Lincoln, that's 5th against 2nd at the start of the day. Well, Lincoln are in front at Edgeley Park through Rico Hackett-Fairchild, the former Portsmouth forward. 0-0 here at the Coventry City Building Society Arena. I'll have your inane stat in just a moment. Is that what you've got?
Yep.
Go on, I'll have it now.
Stockport against Lincoln City. Lincoln City haven't scored a league goal in their last 3 Boxing Day games, and have lost their last 4 on the trot on the 26th of December.
Oof. But they are in front, Lincoln, at Stockport. Here's Sakamoto for the Sky Blues. Up to the edge of the area, plays a 1-2 with Rodoni. Sakamoto goes for goal. It's blocked by Cabango, who put himself between ball and goal, just in front of his own 6-yard line, and got it clear. And it ends up being a Swansea City throw. 0-0.
Yeah, good play from Sakamoto. Just cutting in from the right-hand side, getting onto his left foot. And to be fair to Cabango, the Swansea City captain, put his body on the line, just made sure he dived full length, hit him in the chest.
Wasn't it a chap called Sakamoto who wrote Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence? The theme tune from that film that David Bowie was
Yes, it was. Loving your work.
Barnsley 2, Mansfield 1. The Stags get a goal back at Oakwell in League 1. Cheltenham 2-0 up on Shrewsbury in League 2. Accrington lead against Barrow in the same division. Back-to-back defeats for Stanley, but Barrow no win in 8 going into the day. Walsall, the leaders of League 2, still goalless against Crewe, but Swindon, as I mentioned, in 2nd, are losing at MK Dons at the moment. Just over 10 minutes to half-time here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. And as you can hear around us here at this stadium, there's well over 25, 26,000, maybe pushing 30,000 in here, but they're not really being made to feel as though Coventry are pushing to get themselves in front here. It is 0-0, and Swansea have been good value for a lot of what they've done.
To be fair, Dats, I think out of the 2 teams, Swansea have shown the most energy, haven't they? Shown the most energy out of possession. You know, they've sort of pressed with intent.
Yep. Right, here come Coventry with Mason Clark trying to get away down the left-hand side. Good fit in from Galbraith, who's looked neat and tidy in that right-back position for Swansea. Thrown in quickly by Bidwell. Almost level with the 18-yard line of the Swansea penalty area, just to our left. Good work between Bidwell and Rodoni, but Galbraith there again to get a foot in. Ronald drags the ball back to keep it away from an opponent, and then Ji Sung-young tried to guide it out to Franco on this near side. Almost a terrible swing kick from Matt Grimes, presented it to Vipotnik, but got away with it a bit there, did Coventry City, and they've won a throw. But we edge towards half-time, and Frank Lampard must be thinking, OK, I might have to pep things up a bit here and find some options, because it's not quite working for Coventry City just at the moment, with the score at 0-0.
Well, when we've been here before, Dad, at the CBS Arena, they've played with a verve, haven't they, Coventry City? But that's not been there in this first half here.
It could be to do with the illness that's been talked about. Frank Lampard was talking about using COVID-style isolation techniques to make sure that the flu didn't get spread around the camp. Van Eyck works the ball in field for Victor Torp. Hull have equalised at Sheffield Wednesday, incidentally. And Bristol Rovers still at the lead against Bromley. Here's Tatsuhiro Sakamoto for Coventry. From the right-hand side, looking for Sims. Clawed out brilliantly by Vicaru. From Mason Clark on the follow-up. Sees his shot blocked. And then a swing and a miss from Matt Grimes. What a save from Lawrence Vicaru to deny Ellis Sims. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto hung the cross up at the far post. Headed down into the turf by Sims. But as it bounced up, right claw from Lawrence Vicaru kept it out. Brilliant goalkeeping. Stays 0-0.
Dance, what a save from Vicaru. Remember the one from Dave Seaman against Sheffield United? Pescasolido, you know, he's clawed it from behind him.
Yeah.
That was exactly the same. Brilliant play on the right-hand side from Sakamoto. The closer you get to the byline, you've got to stand it up. Ellis Sims, just on the 6-yard box, heads it back the way the ball came. He thinks he scored. We think he scored. We're right behind it, Dance. We think it's going to end up back on it. Back on that well-class save from Zigarou. What a save from Vicaru.
And the follow-up was blocked as well from Mason Clark, who's in possession now. Works the ball infield to Kitching. Kitching, though, took too heavy a touch. He fouled Cullen, who was not happy at all. Liam Cullen leapt to his feet as Kitching was backpedaling away from the scene of the crime. And Sam Allison just calming things down, the referee out there. Let me recap the scores in the Championship at the moment. In the 3 o'clock kickoffs, 0-0 here with 7 minutes to half-time between Coventry City and Swansea City. Leicester 1, Watford 0. Borough 0, Blackburn 0. Norwich 0, Charlton 0. Oxford 1, Southampton 1. At the Gazam, it was Taylor Harwood-Bellis that scored the equaliser for the Saints. Portsmouth 0, QPR 0. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Hull 1. Mohamed Baloumi with the equaliser for Hull. Stoke 0, Preston 0. West Brom 0. Bristol City 2. Wrexham, Sheffield United will be your live commentary game at 5:30 tonight. Adam Bridge and Adrian Clark have been dispatched to the racecourse ground to bring you that game. And then Manchester United, Newcastle United on Talksport at 8 p.m. from Old Trafford, the one Premier League game of the day, and all the other Premier League games, or most of them I think, being played tomorrow when the darts gets back underway on the Talksport network for the 3rd round of the PDC World Darts Championship. Every dart on the Talksport app, and also Talksport 2 and the Talksport Darts YouTube channel joining the fun as well. Who will be the first sporting champion of 2026 come January the 3rd? Will it be Luke Littler retaining his title, who's had 17 seeds go out at the competition in the first 2 rounds, which is a bit of a record, even though it's a slightly revamped competition. Darts on the radio, it works. Coventry City not quite working so far here this afternoon, but it is 0-0. And Rushworth has made 1 or 2 important blocks, but not a full-length save like Vigouroux had to make a moment or so ago for Swansea. They were looking for Mason Clark down the left-hand side, but Bidwell and Mason Clark not quite on the same wavelength that Jay Da Silva and Mason Clark have been at times for Coventry this season. 0-0.
Yeah, I think there's a great pass there from Rushworth and goal for Coventry. Just put it out in the left-back position to Bidwell, and all he's trying to do with the outside of his left foot is find Mason Clark. Just ends up hitting it out of play.
Bristol Rovers 2, Bromley 0 in League 2 for the struggling Gas. And Burton 3, Northampton 1. Northampton get a goal back at the Pirelli in League 1. Galbraith for Swansea City works it back to Vigouroux. 3 Coventry players closing him down as he clears the ball out of his penalty area, but straight onto the chest of Luke Wolfenden, the former Ipswich man. Ipswich could only get a 0-0 draw at lunchtime against Millwall in their pursuit of the top 2, Middlesbrough and the leaders here, Coventry. Ball's played out to the Swansea right. Galbraith has got a chance to move into the Coventry half of the field. He wanted to play it further down that right-hand touchline for Ronald, but he was being well marshalled by Bidwell and also being helped out by Kitching. Now Franco showing good strength to hold off Kitching and work it back to Burgess. 0-0.
That's just a sign of the way that Swansea play, because the 2 centre-halves for Swansea, Kabanga and Burgess, when they've got the ball, they just look to fire it in to Cullen or Franco, because they're very fluid in their movement, and they say basically we're going to fire it in, so you've got to handle it. And it's exactly, they're very good technically. Swansea just had an example there of Burgess trying to find Vipotnik with a diagonal. Vipotnik just went a little bit too early. But in the Championship, Dance, you get different sorts of games, don't you? You get like physical battling game. This is a very technical game.
And Swansea are matching their opponents. Bidwell tries to win the ball on the touchline, left-hand side, but Swansea get it clear. Franco with a lovely touch to find Ronald inside his own half, but he will now gallop over the halfway line for Swansea. 3 players to his left, and also he's got Franco moving up on his outside, creates a dummy, alas. Ronald the chance to have a shot, but it's wild and well over the angle of post and bar at the near post. But another example of Swansea's ability to play out from the back and create opportunities in just a few seconds. 3 minutes of normal time remaining in this first half. It's 0-0.
Ronald was just like a clown there, to be fair, because he should be hitting the target. It's brilliant link-up play again, especially down this right-hand side for Swansea. Galbraith just fires it into Franco. Lovely little first-time pass out to Ronald. Coventry City back off. Franco goes on the overlap. That gives Ronald the space. From there, down to the edge of the box, he's got to be hitting the target and just like smashes it over the crossbar. But a brilliant example of the way Swansea like to play out from the back with their 1 and 2 touch football.
Burgess clears for Swansea, straight into the head of Mason Clark. Now Rodoni with his back to goal, 30 yards out, finds Torp back into the box. Mason Clark tried to get the header on goal. Cabango blocked it. Didn't know much about where it had gone, Ben Cabango, but put himself in the right place to block the header from Ephraim Mason Clark. It's now a throw to Coventry, down by the corner flag on their right-hand side. 0-0 here. Barrow just equalised to Accrington. That's 1-1 at the Wham Stadium. 0-0 here in the Midlands.
That was such good defending there from Cabango, the Swansea City captain, because great little ball fed him from Torp from that right-hand side. Mason Clark looks like he's got a free header, but Cabango knows he can't win the header, so what he's got to do is he's got to put his head in front of the ball just to make sure that he gets the block on exactly what he does, but it goes for a long throw for Coventry out on the right-hand side.
Which inevitably has been handed to Milan van Ewijk. 90 seconds of the 45 remaining. In it comes from the Coventry right back, flicked on by Wolverton. Mason Clark on the turn and brilliantly firing into the roof of the net, and Coventry are off and running right on half time. It was the long throw that created it. Wolverton got the flick on. Ephraim Mason Clark let the ball run across his body and then swung and smacked it with his left foot into the roof of the net, and Vigouroux, who made a brilliant save not 10 minutes ago, could do nothing but watch it go into the roof of his net. And the leaders lead. Coventry City 1, Swansea City 0.
Dance, we said about Swansea's defending from Van Ewijk's long throws. Typical example there. Don't get the first contact. Great little flick on from Wolfenden. Then the ball bounces down. Mason Clark is facing his own goal, spins in one movement with his left foot, half volley, smashes past Vigouroux, gives him absolutely no chance whatsoever. And when you're at the top of the table, Dance, you seem to come up with big goals at big times. Exactly what Coventry have done here this afternoon, because they've been second best for a lot of this first half. But Mason Clark puts them 1-0 up here at the CBS Arena.
And that's 2 in 2 for Ephraim Mason Clark. He got the winner. Well, the goal, rather, the equaliser against Southampton. We're going into a minute of added time here at the CBS Arena. And suddenly this place is a very different sounding arena. One or two had drifted away to the concourses to get their half-time refreshments. Burton 4. Northampton 1, Luton 2, Wickham 0, and Watford have equalised at the King Power just down the road from here. That's 1-1 in the Championship. And a free kick's been awarded for a foul on Vipotnik by Bidwell. So Swansea will have one chance in the remaining seconds in this half to get the ball into the Coventry City box. Free kick will be on this right-hand side. Portsmouth have just taken the lead against QPR right on half-time. In the bottom four, Portsmouth. But they lead at Fratton Park against QPR, who've been really good just lately, winning 3 out of 4. And they will have enjoyed thumping Marty Cifuentes' new club Leicester last time out. So, free kick for Ethan Galbraith, just next to where Frank Lampard stood in his technical area. Diagonal ball into the box, up go the heads. Cleared away by Kitching, and the referee blows the half-time whistle, and a very, very happy half-time whistle for the fans to hear here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, because it was all a little uncertain for the leaders in the first half of this encounter, and that's down to the quality that Swansea City was showing with their pass and move, creating 1 or 2 half chances. Coventry had an early ball fizzed across the face of goal from Jack Rodoni that nobody could connect with. Then a header from Ellis Sims at the far post was brilliantly clawed away off the goal line by Lawrence Vigouroux in the Swansea goal, but he could do nothing just a couple of minutes from half-time, when a long throw from the right from Milan van Ewijk was flicked on by Luke Wolfenden, and Ephraim Mason Clark let the ball run across his body along the 6-yard line, turned and fired it expertly left-footed into the roof of the net. And that is why the score at the break here in the Midlands is Coventry City 1, Swansea City 0.
Ian Danta, thank you very much. Yes, a massive goal there for Ephraim Clark just before the half-time whistle went. I should say Ephraim Mason Clark getting that goal. Let's chat to Perry Groves then, who's been alongside Ian Danta. And you said it, big goals at big times. That's what teams need, and that's what Frank Lampard has got with Ephraim Mason Clark, and that fabulous goal, really, which has come from, and it's so in vogue these days, a long throw-in.
Well, someone who made a career out of a long throw, it warms the cockles of my heart, to be fair. But to be fair to Van Eyck it is a proper long throw. You know, the trajectory is really good. He's always getting it in sort of the middle of the 18-yard box. And I mentioned earlier in commentary that the couple that he had, one of them actually bounced on the edge of the 6-yard box, where Cabango and Burgess, the two Swansea centre-halves, have got to be getting first contact. And that's happened a couple of times. And obviously, just before half-time, you've got to have heightened concentration, you know, the Swansea back four. And when the throwing comes on from Van Eyck, it's Wolfenden who gets the first flick on.
Yeah.
And that can't be happening if you're Swansea, because you've got to make sure just before half-time that you clear your lines, you go in at 0-0, because Swansea have been the better side. But it was a brilliant finish from Mason Clark, because he's actually got his back to goal and he lets the ball roll across his body, and in one movement he just swivels with his left foot just as the ball bounces up. He smashes past Vigouroux high to his right hand side and Ruffin. It gives him absolutely no chance. And as I mentioned, Coventry are top of the league. They've been second best for a lot of this first half, but they don't panic. They just think, right, no, we'll trust ourselves. We'll trust that maybe Mason Clark or Ridoni or Sims, you know, will have a bit of magic. And that's exactly what's happened from Mason Clark.
And with the way results are going right now, it means they're pulling 13 points clear of third place Ipswich, which is really what it's all about, being clear of the chasers. But you're right, it's an interesting battle that it's been, because I'm sure Vita Matos will be in that dressing room saying, we've done pretty much everything right, we've dominated in spells, they've had more possession than Coventry as well at the CBS Arena, which, let's face it, not many sides will be doing that. So what is it that he might be saying to them now at half-time to try and get them back into this game?
With general play, he'll be delighted of the way, because you know it's been very quiet here. You know, we've been here dancing myself before, where it's been absolutely rocking. Remember they said, you know, they've had the Coventry fans too many pigs in blankets. You know, when you just feel a little bit lethargic and a bit.
No one knows what day it is. You know. What
exactly.
It is.
Yeah. Exactly. Is it Friday? Is it?
I think it is Friday. Yeah.
Oh, right. So, so there's been nothing for the Coventry fans really get excited about, and that's because Swansea was so good. You know, I mentioned about Galbraith going into midfield from right back position. Franco and Stamanic look very comfortable in that sort of centre midfield area, and especially on their right hand side, the link up play with Galbraith, Franco and Ronald has been really, really good. But then it's where you earn your money is in both penalty boxes. And when Swansea have been getting to Coventry's edge of their penalty box, the final pass has been the wrong one. We've had Ronaldo has a couple of shots where he should be hitting the target, you know, from 18 yards, and he smashed it over the crossbar. Vipotnik had a really good chance where Ji Sung-un come in from the left-hand side, picked him out, and he should be getting his shot away a lot quicker, and he lets it bounce up, and then just as it drops, he hits it, and then Kitchen gets his block in. So it's a strange job as a manager, because Vitor Matos, the Swansea manager, would be delighted with the way that his team's played. You know, this team he's playing against, like storming away at the top of the championship, and they've outplayed them here, but they've gone in 1-0 down, just because in the attacking penalty area they haven't had that sort of quality, you know, just to finish off their brilliant moves. And in the defensive area, they've lost concentration in the 44th minute, and against a team like Coventry, who have a reputation of nicking goals at big times, it's exactly what they've done. But I can't see the second half being a lot different. Maybe Frank Lampard will say to his Coventry side, you've got to play 10 yards further up the pitch, you've got to have... They're just lacking that verve, you know, and that sort of dynamism that we've seen here before. But they've gone in 1-0 up, so that might be like an injection of a little bit of energy that they need.
All right, for now, Perry, thank you very much. I'll let you enjoy a little bit of a half-time break there. When we return, then, of course, we'll bring you the second half of this game between Coventry and Swansea. Plus, we'll run you through a half-time classified check too.
It's the totally immersive football experience.
Right, put it on! What a goal!
EFL Live on Talksport 2. Gallagher Prem Rugby, live, loud and unleashed on Talksport 2 with Tenham.
Kicks down the left-hand side.
Get all thriller, no filler, full match commentary throughout the entire New Look season.
Right down the middle.
And keep up to speed with every twist, turn, tackle and try.
They've scored.
New heroes will be crowned. Old rivalries will be reignited.
The roof almost comes off.
Experience the action, the passion and the exhilaration of the Gallagher Prem on Talksport 2 with Tenham Men. Keep control.
Throw a red carpet down the drive, rope off your front gate and tip off the paparazzi. Because with People's Postcode Lottery, you could have a VIP, a very important postcode. In our January draws, players in the winning postcode will each win £12,000 every month for 12 months. Sign up before midnight on the 31st of December for you and your neighbours' chance to win. Is your door in the draw? People's Postcode Lottery manage lotteries on behalf of good causes. 18 plus conditions apply. Play responsibly. Not available in Northern Ireland.
Nothing beats that just booked feeling. Because when you book a Jet2 holiday, you start dreaming of pool days and making memories. Get ahead for summer with just a £25 deposit per person for a limited time only. Choose from our best free child place holidays and save up to £400 per family of 4. Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. Package holidays you can trust. After National Protected. £25 deposit available from 19th of December to 12th of January. Subject to availability and conditions.
Whether you're chasing titles or just that first 180, there's a place for you at the Yockey. And at Target, we design the darts, boards and tech that take every player further. From precision-engineered barrels trusted by the world's best like Stephen Bunting and Luke the Nuke Littler to our next-generation Omni Auto scoring system built to keep your game flowing and your focus where it should be, on the throw. Darts, boards, accessories, smart tech, whatever your level, Target gives you the tools to play better, feel better and love the game even more. Get on Target. Visit targetdarts.com.
It's the subtle things you should look for this Christmas. Mum struggling to remember the grandkids' names, or forgetting the sprouts, and getting overly frustrated or confused about it. Because with a third of people living with dementia undiagnosed, these subtle things could be a sign of something bigger. For vital support and information, visit the Alzheimer's Society website. It will take a society to beat dementia. Alzheimer's Society.
Talksport 2 is your dynamic destination for all the latest sporting action, featuring live commentary of all the biggest events, including football, PGA golf, horse racing, Premiership rugby, cricket, boxing, and all the big-hitting drama of the NFL. Touchdown! Plus, Talksport 2's official betting partner, William Hill, is always on hand with the insight and in-depth analysis you need. Talksport 2 with official betting partner, William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
This Saturday, leave behind the dank, rank monotony of the weekday. The spirit of Saturday is upon us. Rise up.
It's big-ticket live Premier League football you can't afford to miss.
Saturday is game day.
What a strike!
One spectacular pitch performance you can't hear anywhere else.
Exclusive full-match commentary of Nottingham Forest versus Manchester City.
Game day exclusive.
Tomorrow on Talksport.
Hard-hitting football coverage.
He hits it first time. What a body, what a goal!
Pushing the apex of live football.
And it's in!
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
This is game day.
Half-time classifieds.
Welcome along to EFL Game Day Live, where it's Coventry who lead by a 1-0 in our live game. But let's run you through what's happening in the rest of the Championship at half-time.
Sky Bet Championship.
In the early kickoffs, Birmingham Derby played out a 1-1 draw, and it was goalless between Millwall and Ipswich. As I mentioned, Coventry are 1-0 up against Swansea. It's 1-1 between Leicester and Watford, Middlesbrough and Blackburn are 0-0, as are Norwich and Charlton. It's 1-1 between Oxford and Southampton. Portsmouth are a goal up at home to QPR. 1-1 at the break between Sheffield Wednesday and Hull. No goals in the game between Stoke and Preston, and Bristol City are 2-0 up at West Brom.
Sky Bet League One.
In League One, AFC Wimbledon and Stevenage are goalless at the break. It's 2-1 that Barnsley lead at home to Mansfield. Blackpool are a goal up at home to Doncaster. Bradford lead Wigan by 1-0. Burton 4-1 up at home to Northampton. No goals in the game between Cardiff and Exeter. Huddersfield are 3-0 up at home to Port Vale. Luton lead Wickham 2-0. Peterborough and Leyton Orient are goalless. Reading are 3-0 up at Plymouth, and Lincoln are 1-0 up at Stockport, and Bolton beat Rotherham in an earlier kickoff.
Sky Bet League Two.
Into League Two then, and Accrington and Barrow 1-1 at the break. Bristol Rovers lead Bromley by 2-0. Cheltenham are also 2-0 up there at home to Shrewsbury. No goals in the game between Chesterfield and Notts County. It's 1-1 between Crawley and Colchester. Cambridge United lead Gillingham by 1-0. That at the Priestfield Stadium. No goals between Grimsby and Oldham. MK Dons are 1-0 up at home to Swindon. It's goalless between Newport and Barnet, as it is between Salford and Harrogate. Tranmere lead Fleetwood by 1-0, and that's the same situation for Walsall, who are 1-up at the break against Crewe. So that runs you through the half-time results. Earlier on, we brought you a stalemate at the Den as Ipswich missed out on the chance to close the gap on the top two with a goalless draw against Millwall. And after the game, the Ipswich boss, Kieran McKenna, gave his thoughts on the game to Talksport 2's Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, we're disappointed not to have won the game. I think Millwall had some momentum at the start of the game with some set plays in the first 10 minutes and some chances, but other than that I thought we controlled a large majority of it. We got to really good areas and we just didn't deliver enough in the final third. We worked through them well. They're not an easy team to play through, but we played through them pretty well and got to the final third plenty and had enough sort of big situations and big moments and just couldn't find the goal today. On the other hand, you come away from home, if you can't get the goal, make sure you get a clean sheet and you get something from the game, and we managed to do that. So we're not happy with the point. I don't think we ever are. I feel like there was a win there for us in the game, but we didn't manage to get it.
Because the way I look at it, and I know football isn't played on paper, a good friend of mine told me that as I walked in actually, but you've got the best squad in this league on paper, and I'm wondering why you're not, even though it's a tough place to come, putting games like this to bed and running off with this league.
Don't agree with any of that. I think football doesn't work like that in any respect. Certainly not this league. So, who's got the best team on paper? Is it us? Is it Southampton? Is it Leicester? It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. It's a competitive sport. We showed that. We won this division with a team that we got 97 points with a team that came from League One. So it's not about having the best players. We know this is a group that's come together. That's a work in progress. Feel like we're improving over the course of the season. We haven't had a big winning run yet that we would like, but you just have to go into each game and give it everything and try and pick up all the points you can.
That was Kieran McKenna then giving us his reaction to that point at Millwall in our earlier game. OK, the teams have made their way out already then at the CBS Arena, where Coventry, the league leaders, are a goal up against Swansea. So let's hand you back to your commentary team. It's Perry Groves and Ian Danta.
Thank you, Natalie. Well, it's Coventry who've been sent out early, or earlier than their opponents. Frank Lampard has made no changes at the start of the second half, and the Swansea players are now emerging from the tunnel just down to our left-hand side. Swansea do have a great record here. They've 4 wins and 4 draws. They won 2-1 on their last visit. September 2024, just over a year ago now. Ollie Cooper and Liam Cullen, who's out there playing for the Swans today, scored the goals. So Coventry have not beaten Swansea in all 8 attempts on this ground. Their last win at home against Swansea was back in the glory days of John Toshak and Alan Curtis of 1981 at the old Highfield Road.
Played against them. Ray Kennedy was playing for Swansea.
That's right. It was the Hughes song of his career, yes.
Jimmy Rimmer in goal.
Salad days for Swansea City fans of a certain age, going back to that time when they went through the divisions to play to the old First Division.
I think they went 4-3-2-1, 1-2-3-4.
Yeah, it was as swift a descent as it was a rise. So we're back underway. Coventry in their sky blue shirts, Swansea in their change strip of maroon and green, very Portugal-esque, the away strip that Swansea City have. And the first thing they've got to do, Swansea, is deal with another Milan Van Eyck long throw. That's how the goal came about in the first half. This is slung towards the edge of the penalty area from further back in the half. Comes out to Jake Bidwell, who lobs it down the right-hand side, looking for Van Eyck, and he will force another throw of Ji Sung Yum. I'll run you through the lineups in a minute. No changes at half-time for either manager. And it will be Van Eyck on this near side with Coventry in their sky blue attacking the south stand to our right. And there are Swansea fans in that southwest corner. In it comes from Van Eyck into the near post. It's headed away by the Swans defence. Comes out to Tatsuhiro Sakamoto. Links up with Van Eyck once again. Now it's Japan against South Korea, because Sakamoto's up against Ji Sung Yong through the legs of the Korean. Finds Van Eyck, clips the ball across the facing goal, and Rodoni tries to get up for a header at the far post, but it just skims off his forehead and then eventually goes behind off the corner flag at the far end of the field. And it's a goal kick. So let me quickly run you through the lineups. Coventry, Rushworth in goal, then Van Eyck, Wolfenden, Kitching and Bidwell, Torp and Grimes, Sakamoto, Rodoni and Mason Clark with Sims, and then for Swansea, Vigouroux the keeper, Galbraith, Cabango, Burgess and Timon, Franco and Stamenic, Ronald, Cullen and Ji Sung Yum behind Vipotnik. We played 2 minutes of the second half. Coventry 1, Swansea 0, as it was just before the half-time whistle. Bidwell lobs the ball up to the halfway line, but dealt with it at the back, at least initially, by Burgess. Sims showing great strength to try and win the ball back off Franco. Oh, lovely touch from Ronaldo, and then Bidwell just stayed where he was, barged into him. Free kick to Swansea on halfway. This time Ronaldo gets up a bit quicker than he did when something similar happened in the first half. 1-0 to the Sky Blues.
Yeah, Bidwell just getting a little bit too tight there to Ronaldo. Great little flick around him. So Bidwell just stood still. Ronaldo just run into him. Sam Allison, the referee, gave the free kick to Swansea.
Now here's Gonzalo Franco trying to make a run down the right-hand side of the Coventry area. Goes with Bidwell. They both go to the ground, and there was a bit of a haul down from Franco on Bidwell, and the referee was right on the spot as quick as he could get there, and he made sure there was no afters between the two players.
I think Sam Allison's just made sure he's done his stretches at half-time, Dance, because he could have pulled a hamstring there. He was sharp out the blocks.
He was very quick, the referee.
Just getting in between Bidwell and Franco, just made that little run down that right-hand side.
Yeah, it was good, but no one found him, though. Bradford lead Wigan by a 1-0 in League One, starting the day in third, the Bantams. Galbraith hooks the ball clear. He was under pressure. He knew that Rodoni was behind him in the number 10 position for Coventry, so he just elected to hook it out of play on the far side. The Coventry left for a throw that Bidwell's going to get ready to take. Tranmere 1, Fleetwood 0, Walsall 1, Crewe 0, MK Dons 1, Swindon 0. These are the latest scores in League 2. Bristol Rovers, having sacked Darryl Clark and brought in Steve Evans, are 2-0 up on Bromley. Here is Matt Grimes, the former Swan, looking for Rodoni down the left-hand side of the area. Gets to the byline, pulls it back, looking for Sims. Burgess heads clear, but only as far as Grimes once again. Tucks it out to the left wing for a first-time cross from Bidwell. Comes to Torp at the edge of the area. Shoots straight at Vigouroux, who clutches hold of it gratefully in front of his body. And it stays Coventry City 1, Swansea City 0. 49 minutes played on Talksport 2.
Just come out a little bit more purpose, haven't they, Dan, to Coventry City in this second half. So to pan that a little bit further up the pitch. The intensity they're closing down, they're getting closer to the Swansea players running possession. Good play down the left-hand side. Rodoni just pulling it back to Torp. Torp, good first touch out of his feet. Left foot, straight down the throat with Vigouroux.
Vipotnik, onside, good turn, midway point of the Coventry half, now trying to keep it away from a couple of Coventry defenders. He was just caught by Victor Torp, and the referee has given Swansea the free kick just beyond the midway point of the Coventry half of the field. I would say it's too far out to have a shot at goal, but I don't know whether Perry Groves, alongside me former Colchester winger, would think somebody out there would fancy a crack on target here.
Probably about 28 yards out, Dance, central. So it'll be interesting to see Rushworth, the Coventry goalkeeper.
Galbraith is certainly placing it down with the intent that he's going to have a strike here. Or is it going to be Liam Cullen? Looks like it's going to be Ethan Galbraith. Most definitely.
This looks like it's going to be a four-man Coventry wall.
Deliberately pacing back from the ball. There is a four-man wall inside the D. Gives you an idea of how far out this is. Rushworth just directing operations on his goal line.
And you've got Ellis Sims and Rodoni on the right-hand side of the wall as Coventry look up the pitch.
Let's see what Galbraith can do. Standing almost parallel to the ball as he steps up, right-footed, hits the wall, headed out to the far right-hand side for Swansea, but Ronald can let the ball go out of play for a long throw, potentially.
Another tick in the four-box for the Coventry City defensive set-piece coach, because you say they put Sims and Rodoni on purpose.
Ball clipped into the area, but Kitching heads well clear. Lovely touch from Sakamoto to get Torp away from Franco. Bursts over the halfway line, Victor Torp. Works it down the left-hand side for Mason Clark, the goal scorer. Bibble on the overlap, but he's used as a decoy. Mason Clark goes for goal and it deflects wide. Vigouroux diving full length at his near post, but it went wide for a corner kick to Coventry City in the southeast corner. 1-0 the Sky Blues lead.
Great little turn from Torp in the centre of the pitch, just making sure, just spins away from Franco, just gets it out to Mason Clark. Didn't really have the conviction dance, did he, with his right foot shot, didn't really catch it, got a little block, corner for Coventry over the left-hand side.
Grimes to take it, left-footed outswinger from the Coventry City captain against his old club, looks for Sims at the near post, and another corner was headed behind. The melee of bodies at that near post, the way Grimes had swung it in, so we'll get another go here. Left-footed outswinger again from the man brought to the club by Frank Lampard from Swansea. This goes deeper, looking for Rodoni at the far post. It won't quite make its way through to him, but Ji Sung Yong couldn't take the ball clear for Swansea, and it's worked back to Van Eyvite inside the centre circle. Now out to the right wing, the near side to us, as we sit in the west stand here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, about 20 rows back from pitch level. Looking on as Jack Rodoni works the ball back to Carl Rush with his keeper, who stood at the edge of the centre circle in his own half. Hits a diagonal out looking for Matt Grimes on the left-hand side. Can he keep it in play? Well, he did manage to hook it in from the touchline despite the attempt to protect the ball from Ethan Galbraith, but the ball just landed straight in the grateful arms of Lawrence Vigouroux. 1-0 Coventry.
Yeah, good defending, to be fair, from Galbraith, just making sure he got his body between the man and the ball.
Stamanic very nearly dispossessed by Victor Torp as the ball was rolled back to him by Josh Tymon. Remember, Coventry unbeaten at home. At the moment, they are 8 points clear of Middlesbrough as things stand, because Middlesbrough are only 0-0 with Blackburn at the moment. And they would be 13 points clear of Ipswich Town, who only got a 0-0 draw at lunchtime at Millwall. You heard it live on Talksport 2. Cheltenham 3, Shrewsbury 0 in League 2. As a long ball hit downfield intended for Ji Sung Yong is gobbled up by Carl Rush with the Coventry goalkeeper. 1-0.
Yeah, just a little bit overhit there from Franco, just trying to get Ji Sung Yong diagonal run from this left-hand side. Van Eyvite did really well, just made sure he stayed with his runner.
Poor touch from Franco, but he did well to try and win it back from Mason Clark, and he's still fighting for it, Gonzalo Franco, but Mason Clark comes away with possession. Huddersfield 4, Port Vale 0 in League 1, as Matt Grimes just turns away from the attentions of Franco on halfway. Now Liam Kitching, who missed the Southampton game through illness, finds Rodoni. Lovely quick feet from Rodoni to get away from his man. Out to the left-hand side, and Bidwell, first time cross, looking for Sakamoto, but plucked out of the air comfortably enough, just away from his own crossbar by Lawrence Vigouroux. 1-0 Coventry. 54 minutes gone on Talksport 2.
Yeah, just too much air again, put it from Bidwell, but it was better play from Coventry down their left-hand side. Grimes into Rodoni, great little spin away from Franco, just rolled it out to Bidwell, and Bidwell should be whipping the ball in instead of just trying to dink it to far post. Simple save from Vigouroux.
Now Ronald out on the far right-hand side, hugging the right-hand touchline as Swansea come forward. He's up against Ellis Sims, who's trying to hold him up, level with the 18-yard line. Nicked in field for Franco. Now Stamanic up to the edge of the area, trying to find Vipotnik with a very firm pass, but there were enough sky blue shirts back to wrestle possession back for the hosts, who lead by a goal to 0. We'll be checking in with Adam Bridge in the next 5 minutes or so at the racecourse ground. He'll have team news for our next live game, which is at 5:30. Wrexham taking on Sheffield United in North Wales. And Adrian Clark will be alongside Adam for that commentary. And don't forget the Premier League game, the one Premier League game today, is at Old Trafford, and we've got it exclusive on Talksport. Manchester United against Newcastle United. Here's Milan van Ewijk for Coventry, swirling across into the box, but overhit for those who'd gone in front of goal. But Rodoni kept it in play out on the far side, but then fouled Galbraith as he was dispossessed and tried to bring it clear. So 10 minutes gone in the second half, and I think Vitor Matos has called for reinforcements from the Swansea substitutes who are warming up.
Well, you might want to put another forward up front, because Vipotnik hasn't really got himself into the game. Just looking at on the bench, there's Bobby Wowles, who was born in Ireland and plays for Scotland under 19s. Work that one out.
That's definitely one for a pub quiz, isn't it? 56 minutes played. Coventry 1, Swansea 0. Stand up if you love the Cov. As Milan van Ewijk bursts away down the right-hand side, he's got the beating of Timon for pace, gets to the dead ball line, pulls the ball back to the far post. Mason Clark heads it down, but again straight to the goalkeeper. Comfortable save for Vigouroux. Stays 1-0 Coventry City.
The Timon there looked like he had his braces caught in the opposition's post, because as Van Ewijk just went past him, he looked like he was running on quicksand. Great little dink to the far post from Van Ewijk, and then Mason Clark coming in, won the head up, but couldn't get enough power in it. In the end, simple save from Vigouroux.
Van Ewijk again finds Torp on halfway. Grimes almost got dispossessed by Vipotnik, but slid in and got enough of a toe end on the ball to keep it away from the Swansea number 9. Rushworth clears downfield. Mason Clark finds Rodoni, gives it back to Mason Clark. He runs into the challenge of Cabango, but it breaks for Rodoni. Across the face of goal, looking for Sims. Headed behind by Burgess for another Coventry corner at the south stand end. 1-0 the leaders lead.
Yeah, Coventry just starting to create that little bit of pressure. Said they've got more intent, there's more vigour about their game in this second half. Rodoni doing really well, getting himself to the byline, just trying to dink it into the middle of the 6-yard box. Really, really good defending from Burgess, just making sure that instead of marking the man, he just marked the area, managed to get his head to it first, head it over on crossbar. Corner for Coventry on the left-hand side.
Cardiff 1, Exeter 0. The League One leaders lead at the Cardiff City Stadium. Meanwhile, Grimes has spotted down this latest corner for Coventry in front of those fans in that southeast corner. Whips it into the near post. Strong header clear from Cameron Burgess this time. And there will be a double change. Melker Widdell will be on for Swansea in just a moment. And so too Zidane Inusa. And these are the guys that were part of the starting lineup last time out against Wrexham, and they're going to come on. Fidel wearing the number 7, and Vipotnik is the first to be taken off, and Ji Sung Yong is the second. So a double change, Perry Groves, for Swansea City, and they're a goal down here to Cov.
Yeah, I said about Vipotnik, he wasn't really in the game. Dan, was he like in the first half? He had that one chance where he took too long to get his shot away. So Vitor Matos, the Swansea City manager, he's seen his team being dominated the first 40 minutes of this second half, decided to make a couple of substitutions. Just be interesting to see who he decides is going to go up front.
So Inusa's a left winger, and Vidal is an attacking midfielder, just back from a loan at AAB in Sweden. Ball's out of play for a throw. So Vitor Matos has rolled the dice first here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. And an attendance of just over 30,000 here today. A bumper crowd of home support. Probably only about, I would say, 700 or 800 have come up from South Wales today. But 30,139. I keep saying it, there's more season tickets holders here at Coventry City now than there ever have been. Well over 20,000 season ticket holders. Meaning getting a ticket on match day as a casual fan is getting very, very tricky. Here come Coventry with Rodoni down the left-hand side, level with the 18-yard line. Clips the ball into the area. Sims went flying towards it, but it was well defended once again by Cameron Burgess. Vidal tries to get a piece of it, and then anywhere will do from Stamanic, but nobody in a Swansea shirt on halfway, so Rushworth, the Coventry keeper's got all the time of the world just to bring this down. and fire it out to the left-hand side for Jake Bidwell. Trying to get ahead of Galbraith. Nods it into the area, looking for the run of Mason Clark, but that was good. Brave goalkeeping from Vigouroux to get there first.
Brilliant ball from Rushworth, the Coventry City goalkeeper, just releasing Bidwell on that left-hand side, just trying to get his header into Mason Clark. Didn't quite come off, just a bit of a Swansea City dance. Inusa will come out on this left-hand side. Looks like Cullen's going to be basically sort of the false nine.
Barnsley 2, Mansfield 2. Mansfield come from 2 goals down at Oakwell. Burton 4, Northampton 1. Stockport have equalised at home to Lincoln as well. That's 1-1 now at Edgeley Park. In that battle of 2 teams toward the top. Here's Mason Clark for Coventry, getting to the edge of the area, trying to tee himself up on his right. Lays it off for Sakamoto. Straight to the keeper again from a Coventry shot. On target, but Vigouroux didn't have to move. 1-0.
Yeah, Mason Clark just cutting in from that left-hand side, trying to get the ball onto his right foot, just kept going lateral right across the 18-yard box. Couldn't get his shot away. In the end, just had a little takeover with Sakamoto. Just got it onto his left foot, but he should be starting it a yard or two to the right of Vigouroux's post, but he's actually just snap hooked it straight to him.
Inusa, strong run down the left-hand side from the freshly introduced Swansea substitute. Vidal, the Swede, tucks it in field for Stamanic. Huddersfield 5, Port Vale 0 now in League One. Galbraith turns away from the attentions of Redoni. Inusa again, hugging this left-hand touchline. He's going to have a run at Van Eyck. In fact, plays an early ball for Timon in the area. Can he make room for a cross? He tried to swirl it across the face of goal with his left foot. And then a foul on Sakamoto by Inusa. And Coventry get a free kick, and Sakamoto gets to his feet. And Inusa gets a yellow card for his trouble, having just come on as a substitute.
Yeah, just a really cheap free kick to go away from Inusa. Sakamoto did well, let the body just roll across his body, got a little right toe to it. Inusa just completely tripped him up, knew exactly what he was doing. Sam Allison, the referee, looked like he didn't want to give the yellow card. And you think, OK, just give the player the benefit of the doubt. But he decided, obviously, he was getting a little bit bored, so I'll give him a yellow card.
You're listening to Talksport 2, your home of the EFL on Boxing Day. Third of 4 EFL commentaries we're bringing you across the network today. Wrexham against Sheffield United coming up with team news imminent. I can tell you that QPR have equalised at Portsmouth. That's 1-1. Norwich have taken the lead at home to Charlton by a goal to nil. And Sheffield Wednesday have retaken the lead in the Championship against Hull City. That's now 2-1 to the Owls. Back it goes to Vigouroux. We played 63 minutes here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Coventry City 1, Swansea City 0. All thanks to that Ephraim Mason Clark goal just before half-time. Shrewsbury get a goal back at Cheltenham, but it is Cheltenham 3, Shrewsbury 1 at Wadden Road. Vigouroux again, the Swansea keeper, all decked out in yellow this afternoon. Thinks about playing a square ball to one of his centre-halves, but Redoni's marshalling that area. Now he's trying to close down Vigouroux. Looks for Galbraith. And Galbraith plays a lovely 1-2 to get Swansea out of danger. And here's Ronald up to the halfway line. Spreads a lovely crossfield ball right to left to pick out Josh Timon. Timon looks for an early cross into the area. Headed away by Luke Wolfenden for a Swansea throw. But whilst it's only 1-0 to Coventry, the jeopardy is always there, Perry Groves.
Yep, and there's a risk-reward there from Swansea playing out from Vigouroux from the back. Galbraith within 2 seconds.
Oh, Galbraith again. Lovely ball down the left-hand side of the box. Inusa finds Vidal. Shot blocked on its way to goal by Wolfenden. It was lovely interplay. And they've won it back, Swansea. Ronald dispossessed, but Vidal takes over. Inusa wants it again. Left-hand side, but they're being a bit more patient with this attack. Swansea City. Timon finds Inusa on this left-hand touchline. Quickly takes on Van Eyck. Vidal out on this near side to help him. These two substitutes look like they've added a bit of pep to the Swansea attack, even though they're 1-0 down. Galbraith looks for Inusa again. Up against Van Eyck on this left-hand side, level with the 18-yard line. Vidal on the overlap, used as a decoy. Inusa put it across the 18-yard line, looking for Gonzalo Franco. Anywhere will do for Coventry. Having a bit of a spell here, Swansea City, even though they're 1-0 down on Talksport 2.
Yeah, Inusa just a little bit too casual there, Dance, when it come out to on this left-hand side. You said Vidal and Inusa give Swansea that little bit of extra energy. But when Inusa gets it, he's 1v1 with Van Eyck. Just go at him. Go at him 1v1. See if you can get past him, get to the byline. just tries to just cut it back to the edge of the 18-yard box to Franco, and that enables Coventry just to intercept it and push a little bit further up the pitch.
Frank Lampard's called for Hadji Wright from down beneath this. He'll be on in a minute. We'll be off to the racecourse ground in just a sec. Galbraith keeps the ball away from Mason Clark inside the centre circle. And now Franco lays it back to Stamenic just inside his own half. Back it goes to Cameron Burgess. So let's get that team news from the racecourse ground for our 5:30 commentary. Wrexham Sheffield United. Adam Bridge.
2 changes for the home side. George Dobson drops down to the bench. James McLean is at home watching Die Hard after he was suspended for 3 games. Broadhead comes in for him. So 2 changes for Wrexham. As for Sheffield United, they're unchanged from the side which beat Birmingham City last weekend. And 1 note for Wrexham as well. Rodriguez, for the first time this season following injury, is amongst these substitutes. We're underway at 5:30.
Thank you, Adam. Adrian Clark will be alongside Adam for full exclusive national radio commentary of that championship game. And we're approaching the midway point of the second half here, as not only Hadji Wright but also Josh Eccles is about to be thrown on by Frank Lampard. Coventry City leading Swansea City by a 1-0. Chesterfield have just taken the lead against Notts County, and a bit of a local derby up the M1 there in League 2. Here come the changes, and it's like for like change that sees Wright come on for Sims. Hadji Wright's been lacking goals of late, and the other change will see Josh Eccles introduced, and they're just sorting out the numbers on the board, and it will be Jack Rodoni that's making way. Rodoni should be pretty much back to full fitness now. Had an ankle injury that kept him out for a good few weeks. But Eccles sent on in his place, probably Perry Groves, because Eccles probably gives a bit more defensive solidity with a team 1-0 up and looking to protect.
Yeah, just a bit surprised with Rodoni actually, Dan, because I thought he's just started to get himself into the game more in the second half. You know, he had a couple of good passing movements down the left-hand side with Mason Clark and Bidwell. So maybe it's sort of manages minutes, and then, you know, he's talked about going into the red zone, didn't they? You know, where maybe too much overload on your leg muscles. So he said that Eccles can go and play in that 10 position. And then obviously Hadji Wright, just a like-for-like up front with coming on for Sims.
Rushworth, the Coventry keeper, clears left-footed downfield, looking for Mason Clark on the left-hand side. Galbraith tried to put him off, but it skimmed off Galbraith's head for a Coventry throw. So not long over 20 minutes to play here at the home of the championship leaders, who, as it stands, are going to go 8 points clear of Middlesbrough, who's still 0-0 with Blackburn. Here's Torp up to the edge of the Swansea area, works it out to the left wing, and Bidwell takes the touch, hits the cross against Ronald, goes behind for another Coventry City corner kick at the south stand end. 68 gone, 1-0.
Yeah, Ronald just doing his defensive duties for Swansea, making sure tracking the run of Bidwell. Bidwell just tried to get his cross in. Ronald gets the block in, corner for Coventry City over on their left-hand side.
And Hull have equalised against Sheffield Wednesday again. That's 2-2 now. Watford are in front at Leicester. Leicester 1, Watford 2 is the latest score at the King Power. Here comes the latest corner from Torp, whipped in, looking for the head of Kitching. It's headed up in the air by Cabango. Will he get the second header? Gets it further outside the box. Inusa can't get anything on it, as Grimes tried to head it back into the danger zone, but it went out of play for a Swansea goal kick away to our right. 1-0 to the Sky Blues.
To be fair to Swansea, Dan, they've actually defended the set pieces far better in the second half than what they did in the first half, especially from Van Eywijk's long throws, where you can bet your life that Vitor Matos, the Swansea City manager, said to his centre-halves Cabango and Burgess, you've got to go and attack the ball, and that's exactly what they've done in this second half. I can't remember Coventry City getting the first contact, you know, to any crosses or corners that are coming in. But it's just, they're just lacking that little bit of spark, Swansea, in the final third.
I'm really liking the look of Ethan Galbraith. He's playing really well for Swansea, and he's come in field to the centre circle and spread play out to Inusa on the left-hand side. Timing on the overlap, again not used. Infield it goes to Galbraith, clips it across the face of goal. Oh, it's turned over the bar. What a chance for Liam Cullen, right in front. The ball across was just teased from left to right by Ethan Galbraith on a plate for Liam Cullen, but he just couldn't sort his feet out, and it went way over the bar for a Coventry goal kick. 1-0 to Coventry City.
Dance. Cullen's got to score. He's completely unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard box. Brilliant link-up play on the left-hand side for Swansea. Anusa and Galbraith. Galbraith come all the way over from the right-back position. Just made sure he just got a brilliant cross in with his left foot, put it into that corridor of uncertainty. And unfortunately for Swansea City, Cullen was really uncertain because couldn't get his feet sorted out. Looked like he shinned it over Rushworth's crossbar. That's the best chance that Swansea have created in this whole game, just coming up in the 70th minute. It should be 1-1.
But it remains Coventry 1, Swansea 0. Ethan Galbraith, I shouldn't be surprised he shows great touch. He was a Manchester United Academy graduate, and Manchester United against Newcastle United is our live exclusive Premier League commentary tonight, 8 o'clock. Sam Matterface and Steve Bruce will be at Old Trafford for you, along with Hugh Wozencroft, for exclusive national radio commentary as the two Uniteds go head-to-head at Old Trafford. Franco for Swansea, meantime, finds Vidal, the Swede, on as a substitute in this second half. Coventry leading by 1-0 if you're just tuning into EFL Game Day Live on this Boxing Day afternoon.
The substitutions have made a difference for Swansea City, Dan, haven't they? Because Coventry just had a little bit of control, but Vidal coming on and Inusa coming on this left-hand side has given that little bit of energy, a bit of fresh legs.
But here come Coventry with Haji Wright darting towards the edge of the area. Heavy touch, can he keep it in play and prevent a goal kick? He can. And then he's challenged well by Cameron Burgess, but that is a corner kick to Swansea City in front of the travelling Swansea contingent in the southwest corner. 72 minutes gone on Talksport 2. 1-0, the leader still in front.
See, Dan, I'm looking at Burgess there, and they have defended well in the second half, but I think that's a tackle he doesn't need to make, because Haji Wright is actually facing the touchline. He's going nowhere. Burgess just puts his foot around, tries to hook it away from him, and gives a corner and puts his team under massive pressure.
And whilst the Swansea fans boo Matt Grimes, who's about to take it in front of them, the Coventry fans respond by cheering him even louder. And they are outnumbering him. Here comes the kick from Grimes, deep to the far post. Good catch in the end by Vigouroux. He had to come through a crowd of bodies to get there, and he clears from hands to try and get Inusa away, who's in a race with Milan Van Eyck, but in fairness to Van Eyck, good covering from the fullback, and Coventry will build again. Down this near side, the right, Grimes works the ball in field to Eccles with his bright white boots, knocks it back to Kitching on halfway. Gillingham have missed a penalty at home to Cambridge United, stays 1-0 to Cambridge in League 2. That Watford goal, incidentally, was Matty Pollock, who put Watford 2-1 in front. They had trailed in that game, the Hornets.
Well, he paints a picture, Pollock.
Oh, lovely ball from Eccles, tries to get it back right at the edge of the area, shot blocked by Burgess. Really good defending, and Swansea survive and get it clear, and Ronald trying to burst over the halfway line, but Liam Kitching shows equally good pace to retrieve possession. Now he's charging down the Cov left, finds Eccles, rides a challenge, finds Haji Wright again, 30 yards from goal. One or two urging him to shoot, but he'll lay it off for Van Eyck. Sakamoto calling for it on this near touchline on the right hand side, but Van Eyck's turned away from that side of the pitch, and Bidwell slots it out to Mason Clark on the far left-hand side of the field, up against Galbraith. A couple of step-overs from Mason Clark. Can't get past Ronald in the end, but Bidwell will take over on the left-hand side. Space to measure across into the box. Just evades Mason Clark. He might get it at the second attempt. Vidal shows good, quick feet, and what a free kick for Swansea at the edge of their own penalty area. Gillingham have scored against Cambridge. That is 1-1, and Plymouth have what appears to be a consolation goal back in their game against Reading. Jay Fulton, a real veteran for Swansea in their midfield. Over 10 years at Swansea since he moved from Falkirk, and not only is he going to come on, but Malis Yalkuye is also going to be introduced, and the players coming off. Ronald is coming off. That's the first change. And also we're going to see Kane Kessler-Hayden coming on.
Number 17, Gonzalo Franco, also leaving the field.
And Franco with the other player that went off. So Yalkuye and Fulton are on. And it's a straight swap at right fullback for Coventry. Quite a job for Kane Kessler-Hayden to get minutes out there, because Van Eyck's been so good since the former Villaman came to the club. But he's going to get a quarter of an hour here. 75 minutes gone then. on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2, Coventry City 1, Swansea City 0. Here's former Colchester winger Perry Groves.
Yeah, just a like for like. Obviously, Coventry City said about Kessler Hayden, struggling to get minutes for Van Eyck. He's got to try and find a long throw from somewhere, isn't he? If you're, sort of neck and neck with your rival for going for the right back position, then Frank Lampard's going to pick Van Eyck because of the weapon that they have with the long throw, and Coventry obviously scored from it in the first half with Mason Clark's swivel and volley.
Now Inusa's gone over to the right hand side for now. He forced Bidwell to give a real dreadful back pass to Rushworth, who prevented a corner kick. It wasn't on target, but Swansea had taken a quick throw in. Inusa on the right hand side now, having started on the left as a substitute. Galbraith with a poor touch. Cleared away by Coventry towards Hadji Wright inside his own half. Lofts it away from one challenge, but Galbraith wins it back. Yalkuye is on loan from Brighton. And we know what Brighton midfielders are like. Be interested to see what this youngster is like. Malik Yalkuye, 20 years of age, finds Vidal inside the area, tried to play it through the legs of Rushworth, who saved it. The flag stayed down, and suddenly two of the substitutes combined. Yalkuye almost fed Vidal for an equaliser.
Well, Vidal found himself getting inside Kessler Hayden, just come on the right back position for Coventry City, put his arm up, try and play offside, and if Vidal had more confidence in his own ability in his left foot, he should be putting his laces for it to test Rushworth. In the end, he looked to see if he could pass it. And
early ball from Eccles out to offside against Mason Clark. Sorry, Perry, I thought Coventry run a counter-attack there. Free kick Swansea, 1-0 Cov.
Yeah, Mason Clark should never be getting caught offside. You're looking across the line. You're the widest player. You hear the frustration from the Coventry City fans, but the Swansea City fans over to our right-hand side be frustrated because Vidal, if he puts his laces for it, he can test Rushworth. Didn't really trust himself down, did he? Just a weak effort in the end. Simple save for Rushworth at his near post.
13 minutes to go on Talksport 2. You're home with the EFL. Coventry City 1, Swansea City 0. Swansea couldn't keep the ball in play on this near touchline. Chesterfield 2, Notts County 0 in that local derby. Luton in another derby game. Bucks Beds. Luton 3, Wickham 0. Sorry, Joe Shannon, if you're listening. And Salford 1, Harrogate 0 in League 2. Harrogate in a very precarious state in League 2 this season under the enduring Simon Weaver. Rushworth for Coventry, the keeper, hits it long downfield onto the chest of Hadji Wright. Trying to hold it up and find Kessler Hayden, but Yalkuye trying to take it away for Swansea. One back strongly by Torp. Now Kessler Hayden making a bustling run down to the byline right hand side, pulls it across. Can Mason Clark tee up Hadji Wright? He tries, and Wright's shot is blocked by Fulton. Took an age to get themselves set to get the shot away there, Coventry.
Brilliant play down the right hand side. Kessler Hayden just pulls it along the 6-yard box. I have no idea why Mason Clark doesn't hit that first time dance. When it rolls across him, if he hits it first time with his right foot, he just sweeps it past Figaro, takes a touch, and everything just seemed to stop. Just rolled it to Hadji Wright. Brilliant block from Burgess.
Bidwell with a cross from the left-hand side again. Easy pickings for Lawrence Vigouroux in the Swansea goal. And again, he clears from hands because he spotted the run of Vidal down the left-hand side. But so too is Kessler Hayden. And in fact, neither of the players could catch up with the ball anyway before it trickled over the touchline here for a throw. And, well, that stat, Bobby Wales.
Born in Ireland.
Plays for Scotland.
Coming on in England.
Perfectly done. And he's coming on for Liam Cullen, who had that massive chance. And it was a massive chance to bring Swansea level 8 or 9 minutes ago when the ball suddenly broke for him. Bobby Wales, who's come from Kilmarnock. He spent a lot of time up in Scotland with clubs like Kilmarnock and Alloa Athletic. Scotland under 21 international, so he's on for these last 10 or so minutes of normal time. Swansea City trailing the league leaders by a 1-0. Middlesbrough, last time I checked, was still 0-0 with Blackburn, so that would be an 8-point gap from first to second if things stay as they are. And then 13 points to Ipswich in third.
With Blackburn are beaten the last 10 away games against Middlesbrough. Last defeat was Boxing Day 2012.
0-0 there at the Riverside. In fact, that's the Stoke Preston's the other goalless game in the Championship this afternoon, and Millwall Ipswich, as I mentioned, that was a lunchtime game. That too was goalless. Coventry 1 up, Watford 2-1 up at Leicester, Norwich 1-0 up against Charlton, Oxford Southampton is 1-1, so too Portsmouth QPR, Sheffield Wednesday 2, Hull 2, and West Brom 0, Bristol City 2. Wrexham Sheffield United at 5:30, so less than an hour until our next live commentary on Talksport 2. From the racecourse with Adam Bridge and Adrian Clark, your commentary team for that one. Little toe ending from Jay Fulton, tries to get Swansea on the front foot, but it's worked back to Carl Rushworth by the Coventry defence, and he clears up to halfway, but Josh Eccles was just making a back for Mario Stamanic, leaning into him, spotted by the referee, who was right in front. And still only 1-0 to Coventry City. The threat is still very much there.
And you can feel an uneasiness in the stadium, Dan, can't you? You said there, because it's a lot of jeopardy in the game.
As Vidal comes forward to the edge of the D, works it to the right for Inusa, space inside the box, tries to drive it and lashes it over the top. Wasteful from Zidane Inusa. There were plenty to pull it back to, although there was a lot of sky blue shirts back too, but Inusa fancied going for glory and didn't get anywhere near it. Goal kick, 1-0.
It was the right idea, wrong execution, because Vidal, who's been really lively since he's come on for Swansea, just cutting in from this left-hand side, picks out Inusa, and he's right to put his lace in. You can do that though, you've got to drill it low across the 6-yard box. You know, see if you get a ricochet. You got Wales, who's just come on in that central area, and then he just blasts it over Rushworth crossbar, and then takes the impetus out of Swansea's attack completely and gives Coventry a chance to get themselves a little bit further up the pitch.
Sakamoto lobs it forward for Coventry. Cabango headed it straight out of play for a Coventry City throw. No Van Eyck out there now to take long throws. Kessler Hayden has replaced him, but he's going to take the throw, whether it's a long one. Well, he is stepping back from the touchline. He probably thinks, well, anything you can do, I can try and do better. Go short onto the chest of Wright. And Kessler Hayden now got 2 Swansea players grappling for possession with him, and one of them fouled him. I think it was Yalkuye that was a bit too strong in the challenge. Free kick to Coventry City. Frank Lampard just casually pacing around his technical area, not looking too perturbed, hands in pockets, not feeling the jeopardy too much, it would seem. Vitor Matos much more frustrated as he paces around his technical area much quicker, hoping his team can get themselves back level. But a free kick to Coventry, midway point of the Swansea half of the field with 7 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Torp to take it. It's about 7 or 8 yards in from this near touchline, the right-hand side. Whistle goes from Sam Allison, the referee. Torp raises his left arm, drills it in with a lovely swirling right-footed free kick into the box, and Burgess defended it really well for Swansea on his own 6-yard line, and the Swans should clear, and do. Grimes will tidy it up though and give it back to Kessler Hayden, who will find Rushworth. And he'll play the ball out left, looking for Eccles. Does well to keep the ball in play, Josh Eccles. On the far left-hand side for Coventry City. Bidwell, first time ball down the inside left channel, looking, I think, for the run of Ephraim Mason-Clark, but Cabango equal to that. And Bobby Wales, born in Ireland, plays for Scotland, come on in England. Is that what I've got to call him every time now? I'm not doing that. He was offside anyway.
Well, actually, it's a bit lazy there, to be fair, from Wales, because he's got to make sure that he keeps himself onside. To be fair, Wolfenden and Kitchen, the 2 Coventry centre halves, a bit more experience, made sure they just pressed up that little bit further.
So it'll be Rushworth to take the free kick for Coventry. Just over 5 minutes to go. Can Coventry hold out and extend their lead at the top of the Championship? Because as it stands, with Middlesbrough drawing 0-0, it will go to 8 points, the lead at the top. Bidwell with a cross from the left-hand side. Half volley clear from Cabango. Coventry have to go back into their own half to retrieve the loose ball. And once again, it's sent back to the keeper, Rushworth. Right-footed clearance from Rushworth this time. But that will drift over Eccles' head. Can he keep it in play? No. Oh, he can. Brilliant from Josh Eccles. Works the ball into the area. Finds Mason-Clark. He goes down. And a corner kick is given. Burgess with the challenge. Mason-Clark thumps his hands on the turf, thinking he should have had a penalty, but that looks even Steven to me. Corner kick, 1-0 Cov.
Brilliant play from Eccles down that left-hand side. Looked like the ball was going to go out of play. Just had a massive Inspector Gadget right foot that just extended out, kept it in play, just roll it into Mason Clark. Again, it looked like Mason Clark was going to get his shot away. Brilliant defending from Burgess again, putting his body on the line, just slides in, times it to perfection. Sam Allison, the referee, has a look at it and thinks, no, it's definitely gone out for a corner for Coventry on their left-hand side.
Bristol Rovers 2, Bromley 2, and Barnsley 2, Mansfield 3. Barnsley were 2 up, and Mansfield now lead at Oakwell. And Luton 4, Wickham 0 in League 1. Corner from Torp, looking for a Coventry head. It's Cameron Burgess with a very brave header clear for Swansea. Then Yalkuye lays it back. Inusa trying to give chase as the ball's lobbed over halfway for Swansea. Trying to get out of their own half because Coventry have had a bit more pressure and a bit more possession in the past few minutes. 4 minutes of normal time to go on Talksport 2. Here's Vidal down the Swansea left. Lovely ball, finding Inusa running down the left-hand side of the area. Just drags the ball back, tries to lay it back to the penalty spot area, and Coventry had men back to get it clear. Good foot in from Cameron Burgess. Referee says play on, right went down. Vidal, infield it goes to Yalkuye. Yalkuye up to the edge of the area. Wales holds it up, keeps it away from the attentions of Torp. Timon had made a run down the left-hand side, but Stamanic didn't use him. Now Galbraith takes over, finds Vidal in the centre of the half, tries to clip the ball into the area. Wales tries to take a turn and shoot, but it's blocked by Grimes. But it comes out to Cabango, and Swansea have it again. Yalkuye escapes the attentions of Eccles, sprints away from the centre circle. Now Ephraim Mason-Clark getting back at him, so he turns Yalkuye very neatly to get away from him. Still players around him, and then he feeds it to his immediate left for Vidal. He's all bandy legs in midfield there, Yalkuye. Now down the right-hand side of the area is the claims of a foul off the ball on Inusa by Bidwell, but the referee says play on, there was nothing wrong with that. You were playing for it, he says to the Swansea attacker.
Yeah, just Bidwell just saying to Inusa, don't be silly, mate, just get yourself up. Sam Allison, referee, does exactly the same thing. Yalkuye did really well, Dance, in that centre midfield area. Just looked like he was running up dead ends, didn't he, about 3 or 4 times, just like getting a couple of foot over as Cruyff turned. And then just tried to roll it out to Inusa, and just silly play from Inusa, just throwing himself to the floor, trying to buy a cheap free kick. Sam Allison, the referee, not interested, but you can bet your life it's going to get a little bit uneasy, Dance, a little bit nervy in this last sort of 2 minutes of normal time.
Particularly when Swansea are winning the ball on the halfway line as they just did, but Coventry snuff out the danger, and Jake Bidwell brings it away down the left-hand side. 2 minutes to go. Coventry 1, Swansea 0. It's been that way since just before half-time on Talksport 2. Swansea win it back. There was a foul by Josh Eccles on Ben Cabango, and the referee Sam Allison gives Swansea the free kick inside their own half. Let's work back to Cabango. Plays a little 1-2 with Stamanic. And then it's worked back across. Burton 5, Northampton 1. Great afternoon for the Brewers at the Pirelli this afternoon for Boxing Day. And Rushworth will just let the ball trickle back into his control. In fact, he lets it go all the way over the dead ball line, knowing it's a goal kick, which he can take even more time over for Coventry City. It's just a question now, I guess, Perry Groves, of how many minutes the referee Sam Allison wishes to add on. We will be seeing Miguel Angel Brau on very shortly for Coventry City. Hasn't started yet in the league, the left back. He'll get a few minutes for Bidwell, I'm sure. That's the change incoming for Coventry. Rushworth's goal kick headed back to halfway for Swansea, and Vidal spots Galbraith in a bit of space in the centre circle. Galbraith held up now by Mason Clark on the halfway line. Plays it left for Burgess. Now Timon needs an option infield. He comes infield himself now and lays it back to Cabango. Steers it out to Inusa on the Swansea right, the far side of the field from us. Now here is Wales down the right-hand side. Tries to play the ball across the face of goal, and it deflects behind off Wolfenden for a Swansea corner in the last minute of normal time. 1-0 Coventry City.
Yeah, again, good possession play from Swansea City. Wales found himself on the corner of the 18-yard box on the right-hand side and just looks up, and there's nobody in the 18-yard box. Got Vidal coming in from this left-hand side, just decides to put the cross in, gets a ricochet. Corner for Swansea over their right-hand side.
Oxford 2, Southampton 1. As we move into 3 minutes of added time, Oxford retake the lead against Southampton at the Gazaman. West Brom 1, Bristol City 2. Swansea's corner whipped into the near post and Wright heads it behind for another corner kick, but not before Bidwell had been pushed by Inusa. And that means it's a free kick to Coventry inside their own penalty area. So the 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time are underway. And in actual fact, it's not going to be Jake Bidwell that's making way for Miguel Angel Brau. It's the other guy on the left-hand side, the goal scorer this afternoon, Efren Mason-Clark, who's going to get a very warm reception. His third goal of the season, 2 in 2 for Efren Mason-Clark. Is it his goal that sealed all 3 points for the Sky Blues here this afternoon?
Well, it looks like he's 2 in 2. Dan's could be worse. 4 points, couldn't it, for Coventry City? Got the goal down at Southampton. Coventry City getting themselves a 1-1 draw. He's got a brilliant goal here in the 44th minute today for Coventry City with a really good swivel turn, all in one movement. Smashed it with his left foot, give Vigouroux actually no chance. And now it's whether Coventry City can just see this final 3 minutes of added on timeout.
Well, half of it has already pretty much gone, that minimum 3. Coventry 1, Swansea 0. Have Swansea got anything left? They've got a throw in their own half on this near side, the left-hand side. That Oxford goal was scored by Stanley Mills, son of Danny. Haji Wright looking to find Brau to his left. Brau wins it back, showing good strength against Galbraith. Up to the edge of the area, Timon gets a foot in. Again, Galbraith's there to get it clear, but there was a foul on Josh Timon. And Swansea have a free kick, but it's right at the edge of their own penalty area, and they want it down the other end of the field in Sharpish. A minute of added time to go, 1-0 Coventry on Talksport 2.
Well, I'll be amazed. This is probably going to be the last chance. If you're Vitor Matos, the Swansea City manager, you've had to Cabango and Burgess, get yourselves up front so Vigouroux can just sort of launch it onto the top of you and see if we can win the knockdown.
So Vigouroux with the free kick, looking for Burgess, who does get the flick on. Infield for Inusa. Then Yalkuye goes down, he wants a free kick, nothing doing, says the referee. Eccles flicks it up to the halfway line. Galbraith has to go back to his goalkeeper. 30 seconds of added time are left, or at least the minimum of 3 minutes. Another long ball forward, flicked on by Jay Fulton. Good header clear from Grimes, the former Swansea man, but a poor clearance from Victor Torp. Here's Inusa for Swansea up to the edge of the area. Shot deflected, corner kick right at the end for Swansea City at the North Stand end, and then in a hurry to take it.
There's good defending from Kitchen, just making sure that he gets the blocking when it goes out to Inusa on that right hand side. Now it's going to be Galbraith has a little jog across to Swansea City's right hand side.
This is it, this is the game right here. A corner to Swansea. Keeper stayed on halfway.
Got to be sending vigour up. You've got to just to have a bit of disruption.
Galbraith to take it for Swansea into the near post. Looks like there's a wrestling match going on at the near post. Vidal picks up the loose ball, wins another corner, right hand side, and there's going to be time to take it. Referee says you can. Looked like Burgess was being wrestled to the ground there.
I'm just looking at Vigouroux, the Swansea City goalkeeper, within the centre circle. He looked across to Vitor Matos, the Swansea manager, to say, is there any chance I can go up?
Galbraith with another corner for Swansea into the near post. This time it's headed clear by Josh Eccles. Looked like there might have been a push on a Swansea player, or Coventry player rather. And Sam Allison just wants to calm things down inside the penalty area. Bobby Wales felt he was being pushed. Grimes has got something to say about it. Wolfenden's got something to say about it. But the upshot of it is it's a free kick to Coventry City.
Well, probably the worst part of Galbraith's game was just there, taking that corner, because he's been very impressive in the whole game in that right-back position, just coming into midfield and overloading. Then you want him to have a decent delivery, missed the first man, doesn't manage to do it.
They're ready to celebrate here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, a late Christmas present of 3 precious points coming the way of the Sky Blues. They maintain their unbeaten record here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, and if things stay as they are in the other games, well, they're going to go 8 points clear of second place Middlesbrough, and they are most definitely 13 points clear of third-placed Ipswich. The only goal of the game coming just before half-time in a first half where Swansea had offered plenty of endeavour and guile, but Coventry got their noses in front. 2 in 2 games for Efren Mason-Clark. Long throw into the area, flicked on by Wolfenden. Neat turn and finish from Mason-Clark. And although Swansea huffed and puffed and made good changes with young players coming on in the second half, Carl Rushworth was never really tested, and Coventry get another 3-point haul here in front of a bumper crowd of over 30,000 to tighten their grip at the top of the Championship. It's finished here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Coventry City 1, Swansea City 0.
Ian, thank you very much. OK, let's look back on that game, shall we? And that unbeaten run continues for Coventry then at home. And although it's another win on the board, it's 2 wins in their last 5, Perry, but you could also look at it as unbeaten in their last 4. It sort of feels like the Coventry we saw at the start of the season is certainly not the Coventry we are seeing right now in terms of the tempo and the performances, but they're still getting the job done.
Yeah, very much so. They've gone a little bit binary in that, haven't they? Just scoring like 1 goal in the games. You mentioned there a couple of 1-1 draws, a couple of 1-0 victories, and it wasn't vintage Coventry City by any stretch of imagination, but that doesn't matter, Nat, because what Frank Lampard is saying is, even though we're not at our best, we're still finding ways to win games, you know, and see them out. And exactly what they've done here today, because Swansea City were the best team in the first half, the best team in possession. They didn't dominate Coventry, but they made them work. You know, they sort of asked questions, and in the end of it, it comes down to who can be the most clinical in the opposition 18-yard box, and Coventry City have come out on top on that one, because Mason Clark's goal was a very well taken goal. We mentioned about the long throw from Van Eyck, and Swansea hadn't been getting the first contact. Cabango and Burgess weren't attacking the ball, and Wolfenden gets his flick on, and as the ball comes to Mason Clark, he just lets it roll across his body, and he just scribbles in one movement with his left foot, gives Vigor absolutely no chance, smash it high into the roof of the net. And Coventry going 1-0 up at half time, and again they're scoring goals at important times, because they say they were under the pressure a little bit in that first half, and yet they go in 1-0 up.
In some ways it seemed a little bit unlucky as well for a Swansea point of view, because Vigoro had pulled off that great save prior to conceding, and they had done so well, Swansea, to contain Coventry.
Yeah, very much so. He said it was a world-class save from Vigoro, because it was a really good header from Ellis Sims, and it just headed it down into the ground, and Vigor was able to claw it back with a big right palm. But you have to say with Coventry, I said before when I was here, when they played against Charlton, they were 1-0 down, they didn't panic, they've got this belief. I think they've just got this belief in the team that one of their players will get them out of trouble. Today it's like Mason Clark, in the past it's been Ellis Sims or Haji Wright. But I have to say that Swansea City had a magnificent chance to make it 1-1. Now, it was really good play from Vidal, who was really lively when he came on in the second half of Swansea on the left-hand side. He got his cross in, and then as it came to Cullen, he's on the edge of the 6-yard box, no one around him, and he should just be side-footing past Rushworth, and he ends up just shinning it over the crossbar. And that summed up the difference in both teams. There wasn't the ruthlessness that Swansea City would be looking for if they want to make their way up the Championship table.
And crikey, what a day it's turned out to be for Coventry, because with games still playing, all the results have gone their way. If you look at how the top 6 is shaping up, the only team to have won is Bristol City, and they're currently leading 2-1 in their game that has moved them into the top 6, whereas every other team has drawn. So overall, it's been a tremendous day for them.
Yeah, if you say, looking at the table as it stands, like 9 points in front of Middlesbrough in second place, 13 in front of Ipswich in third. And at this stage of the season, you just want it to be in your hands and exactly what it is. And if you look at Coventry, there's 30,000 here today at CBS Arena, and Coventry City have made this a fortress. This is their 8th win on the trot in the Championship. They're unbeaten in 11 games at home this season, 1-9 drawn 2. So I say there's a belief coming obviously from the manager Frank Lampard. When you look at managers on the touchline as well, Nat, and you just, you see what their emotions are like. He trusts his team. He's not panicking. He's not getting excited. He's not getting edgy. He's just sort of on the edge of his technical area, just looking at his team, thinking, well, they know what I want them to do. My philosophy is what jobs they have to do, and I trust them to carry it out. And you can tell, I thought there'd be a panic in the last. Normally when the team at home's 1-0 up, the stadium gets a bit edgy and, they drop a little bit deeper. That didn't happen with Coventry City. They didn't drop deep. Wolfenden and Kitchen, obviously two experienced centre-halves, made sure that they kept their team a little bit further up the pitch, so Swansea couldn't exert that pressure. But when Swansea got into those wide areas, say that little bit of quality was missing, and we saw that with Cullen missing his chance where it could have been 1-1. But it's been a brilliant day for Frank Lampard and his Coventry City team and the Coventry City fans.
We said it at the start before the game kicked off about how 15 of the 17 teams top at Christmas have gone on to be promoted. You just told us there the points difference. Middlesbrough 8 points, 13 points clear of third place. At the start of the season, it would all be about top two, and now I'm sure they'd love to go on and win the title. It's only December, albeit we're heading into 2026 shortly. How does he deal now with these expectations, Frank Lampard, on getting the job done?
Yeah, I just think he's a very experienced manager now, and he was saying himself that before in his young managerial career he'd go and overthink things. If his team got beat or they didn't have a good performance, he'd change formations, or he'd tinker a little bit, or he'd change the way his team wanted to play, and he hasn't done that. I mentioned about the Ipswich game where they got beat 3-0, best team in the first half, weren't very good in the second half, but he didn't change. He just said, no, we keep going exactly as we are. And then that makes the players trust the manager, and they trust. I know it's the Mick Arteta, they trust the process, but exactly what they've done. And whoever comes in, obviously Sims is playing up front, and then Haji Wright has come on for him. Rudoni was playing in the 10, then Eccles can come on. They all know their jobs. They all know exactly what their role is in the team, whether they're starting or whether they're coming off the bench. And again, Frank Lampard said about it's the squad, it's the squad that will get you promotion, because the Championship is relentless. And they will, quite rightly, he'll go to the owners and say, right, we've got to ourselves in that position, because the owners, the reason that they got rid of Mark Robbins is because they said that the last 3 or 4 seasons, they started off the season very slowly, and they was always in about 15th or 16th, and then went on a run to get themselves in the playoff positions. Frank Lampard will go to the owners now and just say, by the way, you wanted me to start well this season, exactly what I've done. We're 8 points clear at the top of the table. Now you've got to invest and get the players in that I want in, which I know full well will win us the Championship.
A huge game coming up for them next, which is on Monday when the EFL action returns in full. They host Ipswich. A quick word on Swansea. We mentioned how good they'd been under Vitor Matos, but it's a result that means they're only now 4 points clear of the bottom 3. From what you've seen, do you think they've got enough to stay out of that?
Yeah, they look very assured in the first half. It was a very technical game. Normally, it's a bit blood and thunder, isn't it, in the Championship, where it's very physical, but it was very technical, and they've got some very, very good players like Franco in that centre midfield area. Gal Brayfield was outstanding at right back coming into midfield. But you just look at them, and you're looking at Vipotnik, obviously top scorer of 11, and then the next one is Ronaldo with 4. It's where their goals are going to come from. But just looking at them today, I think they've got far too much for them to be worried about getting relegated. But when they're on top, they've got to make sure that they take advantage of that, and they've got to be sort of more. They're a very nice team, very nice team, very easy on the eye.
That's nice.
Yeah, exactly. But I've got a very nice Maltese Terrier called Ziggy, but he has his belly tickled too often, and you don't want Swansea City to be like that. You want them to have that little bit of nastiness, a bit of gnarl about them. Exactly, that's exactly what they need. But they've come here, and Vitor Matos, the Swansea City manager, will say to us, by the way, we've come to the team that's dominating the Championship in their own backyard, and we've gone sort of head-to-head with them, and we've matched them. So they'll take confidence from the performance.
Well, their next game is away to Oxford, that on Monday as well. Perry, Ian, it's been an absolute pleasure, as always. Safe travels home, and Happy New Year to you both as well.